In middle age, Shin Jincheng moved in with his female student. He demanded a divorce, swearing he'd rather leave with nothing than look at my wretched, aging face another day. On the way to the Civil Affairs Bureau, I was hit by a car and fell into a coma. I overheard my adopted daughter's conversation with him. "Dad, if Mom doesn't wake up this time, will you marry Aunt Bai? After all, Aunt Bai is my real mother." "I've dreamed of our family being reunited as three," Shin Jincheng said quietly. "After your mother's funeral, we'll hold the wedding with Aunt Bai." When I opened my eyes again, I'd traveled back to the late 1980s. That was the year Jincheng and I just got married, and we'd just adopted our daughter. That same year, the girl Jincheng truly loved worked her way into a top university and left for Beijing. This time, all mistakes returned to square one, while I got the chance to set everything right. A baby's cry snapped me back to reality, blinking in confusion. I saw a tiny room with crimson double happiness posters on the walls and a wedding photo bearing an inscription, "May Shin Jincheng and Su Chenyan enjoy eternal marital bliss." Behind the door hung an old almanac open to August 21, 1988. Just then, the door swung open from outside. Shin Jincheng walked in carrying a fish. He appeared to be in his 20s, refined, handsome, and well-built. I could hear the child crying from outside. "What's going on?" Shin Jincheng hurried over, frowning at me. "What are you spacing out for? Go prepare Yuqing's formula now." 2. Shin Yuqing was the abandoned infant I found at my doorstep 1 month before the 1988 college entrance exams. I glanced at the baby in my arms with disgust, laid her on the bed, and began meticulously wiping my hands with a damp cloth. The adopted daughter I'd cherished like the apple of my eye in my past life now evoked not an ounce of affection. Looking up, I saw Shin Jincheng squatting on the ground, cleaning fish and vegetables. He issued his usual command, "3 of my students are coming for dinner this afternoon. They're this year's top graduates, all admitted to prestigious universities. Make some of your signature dishes later." I remained silent. Shin Jincheng paused, surprised. "Aren't you going to ask who they are?" I let out a cold chuckle. "I've forgotten the names of the other 2 students. But there's one girl I'll never forget, Bai Heji." 3. Dinner was served at 5 p.m. Teachers and students enjoyed each other's company, chatting about the college entrance exams and dreaming of bright futures. I couldn't get a word in edgewise, nor could I be bothered to try. Bai Heji sat right across from me, 3 years my junior. She had delicate features and an innocent charm. The oversized vintage school uniform hid her figure completely, and her pallid complexion didn't help. Head bowed, she picked at her food in silence, occasionally stealing glances at the baby. In our past life, Shin Jincheng had mentioned offhand that his student Bai Heji had contracted an infectious disease. To protect her classmates' health, Bai Heji studied at home during the final 2-month sprint before the college entrance exams. He occasionally visited to tutor students. I didn't think much of it at the time, it seemed perfectly normal. Looking back now, she was probably trying to hide her pregnancy. "Come on, let's celebrate." Shin Jincheng poured wine for the 2 male students and thoughtfully served Bai Heji a cup of warm sugared water. "First, congratulations on getting into a top university. You'll always make me proud. Second, I wish you boundless opportunities and smooth sailing ahead." With that, Shin Jincheng took out 3 envelopes and handed one to each student, saying gently, "Beijing's expensive, it's not much, but consider this a small token from your teacher and my wife." The 3 students were moved to tears, repeatedly refusing the offer out of politeness. After Shin Jincheng insisted multiple times, they finally accepted. Each of the 3 envelopes contained exactly 100 yuan, with no favoritism shown. But while I was cooking, I saw Shin Jincheng discreetly slip a thick wad of cash into Bai Heji's satchel when no one was looking. It's fair to say Shin Jincheng poured every penny of his hard-earned savings into this, all to fund Bai Heji's college education. In her previous life, Bai graduated and landed a prestigious job, eventually marrying into an exceptionally wealthy family. Hers was a blissful marriage and a life of luxury. Later, her husband lost everything speculating in stocks and gambling on sports, then jumped to his death, while their son killed someone in a drunk driving accident, buried in debt. She had no choice but to return to her hometown to evade creditors, where she reconnected with Shin Jincheng. Like parched land welcoming rain, the middle-aged lovers rekindled their passion. By then Shin Jincheng had become a wealthy school principal, who generously cleared all his lover's debts. I was seething with rage. I threw tantrums, screamed, even came to blows. I cursed Bai Heji for having no shame. She shot back with a sneer, "Hey lady, get a facelift before you scare people to death. There's an ugly scar on my face from when Yuching, at age 4, bounced on the bed and nearly fell onto a red-hot electric stove. I dashed over in one swift move and pushed the child aside, but I lost my balance and fell, my face slamming squarely onto the red-hot stove coils. To this day, I can't forget the sizzling sound of burning flesh or the excruciating, heart-piercing pain. I was disfigured. Jincheng barely touched me after that, only once when he was drunk. The moment he saw my face, he vomited. I pretended not to understand, convincing myself it was just the alcohol, yet he had to say it out loud. I didn't throw up because of your face, don't overthink it. 4. Just thinking about what happened in the past fills me with hatred. Jincheng noticed something was off and leaned in, asking gently, "What's wrong, Chunyan?" Touching my smooth face, I feigned sadness. "I ran into an old neighbor today who said Dad fell while carrying water for the vegetable patch and hurt his back. I want to go check on him." Jincheng blurted out, "If you go back, what about Yuching?" Realizing his remark was inappropriate, he chuckled, "You wouldn't be much help even if you went back. How about sending some money to your dad instead? I'm still teaching the graduating class this year, and with school starting early these days, I'm completely swamped." I said firmly, "I have to go back. If it comes to it, I'll take Yuching with me." Jincheng objected. "That's out of the question. She's just a child, how could she handle a long bus ride?" The atmosphere suddenly turned tense, with none of us speaking another word. Baiheji spoke timidly, "Perhaps I could take care of this. I'll help Shermu with the child during the day, then hand them over to the professor after work." Before Jincheng could respond, I tearfully looked at Baiheji. "That would be wonderful, Xiao Bai. How can I ever thank you?" With a modest smile, Baiheji replied, "The professor and Shermu have helped me so much with my studies and daily life. It's the least I can do." Jincheng's excitement was practically bubbling over, though he deliberately kept a stern face as he told me, "Hurry back. Xiao Bai will be leaving for Beijing soon. She needs to prepare documents and pack. We shouldn't trouble her too much." "Got it," I responded. In the shadows, I pulled out a double-sided folding mirror and angled it beneath the table. Baiheji slipped off her cloth shoes and, barefoot, began stealthily rubbing her foot against Jincheng's crotch. Jincheng's throat bobbed, his cheeks flushed as he downed glass after glass. "This liquor packs quite a punch," he chuckled hoarsely. "Go straight to the head. Ugh, you shameless couple." 5. The next morning, I packed my bags early. I only left after Baiheji arrived. Jincheng personally bought my ticket and saw me onto the long-distance bus. I waved goodbye to him. As soon as the bus left the city, I got off and walked back downtown, heading straight to that photo studio in the West District. "Boss, do you have video cameras here?" the shopkeeper asked with a smile. "Young lady, are you getting wedding footage done?" I shook my head, ready to capture some eye-searing footage. Words aren't enough. I'll make sure their schools and workplaces know exactly what this shameless couple has done. But the boss said the camcorder was loaned out and wouldn't be back for a couple days. Asked if I could wait. I frowned. Waiting is fine, but I fear delays might bring complications. Suddenly, something occurred to me. Around this time in my past life, a young man from Hong Kong stopped me on the street, saying I had great potential and asking if I'd like to try acting. He mentioned he'd be leaving town on August 22nd, and if I was interested, I could attend an audition at the Golden Court Hotel. After getting home, I told Jincheng about it. Shin said I was just a middle school educated waitress, uncultured and downright provincial. As if such good fortune would ever come my way. He insisted that guy was obviously after money and sex, forbade me to go, and told me to stay home with the kids. I was so young back then, foolishly believing he loved me and had my best interests at heart. Many years later, I saw that man from Harbor City on television, the renowned director Lu Juanrong, originally an actor himself, twice crowned Best Actor, has nurtured numerous superstars. Catching Jincheng and Baiheji red-handed was important, but the job interview opportunity mattered more, so this time, I'm going. I have to go. 6. I took the bus and hurried toward the hotel. After getting off, I spotted a sleek black sedan parked in front of the hotel from a distance. A group of people emerged from the guest house, men and women dressed in stylish outfits, pulling their luggage behind them. The man leading them was tall, wearing a white shirt and jeans with sunglasses that accentuated his handsome, carefree demeanor. I recognized him instantly, Lu Juanrong. At that moment, Lu Juanrong shook hands with a middle-aged man before turning to enter the car. "Director!" I shouted in panic and rushed toward them. Before I knew it, I collided with a swill-carrying tricycle. As I fell, the sticky, foul-smelling slop drenched me completely. Ignoring the pain, I limped toward the man. "Director Liu, please wait." Liu Juanrong pressed a finger to his nose, stepping back with a frown. "Who the hell are you?" I kept my distance, explaining hastily. "Don't you remember, you saw me on the street last week. Said I had good presence and scheduled my audition here for the 22nd. Liu Juanrong removed his sunglasses. He had striking Eurasian features. After sizing me up, he suddenly chuckled and spoke in broken Mandarin. "Ah yes, now I remember, that did happen." My heart leaped with joy as I started moving toward him. Then Liu Juanrong abruptly said, "But we agreed on the 21st, so it's you who missed the appointment." "Miss, I detest unpunctual people. It's utterly tasteless. You may leave now." I froze. Nearly 3 decades later, I still recall the interview with the Hong Kong director, though the exact date escapes me. This is my only shot at redemption. I can't let it slip away. I stepped forward, grabbing Liu Juanrong's arm with tearful urgency. "I'm sorry, director. Something terrible happened at home, so Liu Juanrong shook me off in disgust. "Get out now, or I'll call security." I dropped to my knees, kowtowing desperately. "Please, I beg you, give me one more chance." Clearly, no one expected me to stoop so low. Liu Juanrong remained unmoved, stating coldly, "This act of yours is pointless. Let me be frank, the role I'm casting is for a West City local girl, piano playing, radiantly innocent. While your look fits superficially, your eyes lack any spark, oppressive, like a woman who's lived decades without hope. You're not right for this. Let's not waste each other's time. You may leave now." I froze. To my surprise, the renowned director truly had an eye for detail. Just then, a chubby girl beside Liu Juanrong leaned in and whispered in Cantonese, "Ron, don't you think her mannerisms resemble the female lead Songjin a bit?" Liu Juanrong frowned. "Are you out of your mind? I've rejected Oscar-winning actresses for the Songjin role. What makes her special?" The chubby girl shrugged. "Sorry, just throwing it out there. The final call's yours." Liu Juanrong put on his glasses and walked past me without a word. My legs gave out as if drained of strength, and I collapsed onto the floor. Indeed, even if reborn, Lady Luck would never smile upon me. Suddenly, Liu Juanrong halted, turned back, and studied me for a long moment. "Let her audition for Songjin." 7 moments later, I learned the woman who'd spoken up for me was Sun Fong, Liu Juanrong's assistant. Liu Juanrong gave me exactly 10 minutes and a single page of script. The content is extremely sparse. It's basically about a middle-aged woman named Songjin during the Republican era, who resents her military officer husband for keeping a mistress. He didn't give me any further context. Character interpretation and improvisation were entirely up to me. How am I supposed to act without any background information? I can't do this. I've never had any acting training whatsoever. Dozens of family dramas I'd watched in my past life flashed through my mind. I'd seen too many tragic female characters trapped in unhappy marriages. I figured I'd just mimic one at random. But how could I make this imitation stand out? In the end, I decided to throw caution to the wind and just be myself. I asked Sister Ah Fong to play my husband in the scene. No lines needed. Just enter after 10 minutes. Action. Liu Juanrong sat on the chair, still wearing sunglasses with his legs crossed. His male assistant stood quietly beside him, holding a compact handheld camera. Action. Worried I might not understand, Liu Juanrong repeated in Mandarin, "Let's begin." My heart skipped a beat as nervousness overwhelmed me. I pictured Shin Jincheng going to see Bai Heji yet again. He rented an apartment for Bai Heji, and they officially moved in together. He warned me that if I didn't agree to the divorce, he'd take me to court. With trembling hands, I kept dialing the hotel landline, hanging up, and redialing. When the call still wouldn't go through, I slammed the phone down. Then I smashed every teacup, chair, and table in the room like a madwoman. I wanted to slit my wrists, just to see if he'd feel remorse when I was gone. The shard pressed against my wrist, but I couldn't bring myself to cut deeper. Later, I swept up the broken pieces, righted the furniture, silently cleaned the entire room, then sat motionless in my chair staring at the door. Just then, my husband walked in. "I'm home," Fangjia said while slipping off her shoes. I stayed silent, refusing to ask where he'd been. I just stared at him as tears streamed down my face uncontrollably. Sister Fong seemed unnerved by my stare. "Why are you looking at me like that?" I gritted my teeth in silence, just staring at the man who called himself my husband. All these years, I've given so much for Shin Jincheng. When his mother became bedridden, I tended to her every need, even the most humiliating tasks. Until her passing, I raised Shin Yuqing for 27 years. I took care of him around the clock, attending to every single need, even if I didn't achieve much. I worked hard. How dare he abandon me? This is my marriage, my home, my husband. I'd rather die than let Baiheji have it. I stood up, my voice calm though my body trembled uncontrollably. Let's eat noodles tonight. Filming stopped, the screen test was over. Lu Juanrong remained silent for a long while. He suddenly asked me, Miss Su, have you been through heartbreak, or has someone mistreated you? Indeed, in this marriage full of deceit, I've endured nearly 30 years of his neglect and betrayal. I shook my head and fabricated, no, I was imagining myself as Chao Chichiao from The Golden King, a woman trapped in an oppressive marriage during the old times, sexually repressed and worn down by life. She eventually became almost deranged. I was improvising based on that character. Lu Juanrong looked at me, pausing for a few seconds before saying, Miss Su, would you be interested in signing a contract with me? I felt the chill in my body gradually fading as I responded, yes. Lu Juanrong smiled, you're quite decisive, Miss Su. Any issues with relocating to Hong Kong? I nodded, none at all. But there's something I'll need to borrow from you. I pointed at the camera in the male assistant's hand. 8. The night was pitch black. I hurried home with quick steps. Lu Juanrong followed beside me, grumbling, I must be out of my mind. Helping you catch an affair in the dead of night and filming this filthy business. I looked at him sheepishly, bowing repeatedly. I'm so sorry for the trouble. Lu Juanrong's handsome face was full of impatience. Just get a divorce already, why make it so complicated? I lowered my gaze. Divorce, not that simple. I'll make sure they never escape this pain and humiliation for the rest of their lives. I unlocked the front gate and crept inside quietly. This courtyard housed 2 families. And as luck would have it, the neighbors next door had recently returned to their hometown. I walked up to my front door. The house was dark, but the violent creaking of a bed could be heard, accompanied by a woman's soft moans and a man's heavy breathing. At that moment, Lu Juanrong leaned in and whispered mockingly in my ear, your husband's quite the athlete, isn't he? I shot him a glare, took a deep breath, and kicked the door open. Instantly, a woman's startled scream pierced through the room. My hand darted to the light switch by the door. One sharp pull flooded the room with light. Before me lay 2 pale, naked bodies still entwined in each other's embrace. Baiheji, trembling like a startled rabbit, covered her chest and cowered beneath Shin Jincheng. Shin Jincheng's eyes widened in shock at my presence. Hastily disentangling himself from Baiheji, he yanked the thin blanket over to conceal his completely exposed lover beside him. Chunyan, you can't be. Shin Jincheng's flushed face hadn't fully cooled, his damp bangs clinging to sweat-slicked temples as he fumbled with his trousers. He spotted Lu Juanrong. Who the hell are you? Lu Juanrong ignored him. He demonstrated the composure of a seasoned director, steadying the camera with professional precision as he framed the perfect shot of Baiheji's face. Shin Jincheng roared, what's that in your hand? A recording device. Stop filming this instant. With that, he grabbed a stool and swung it straight at Lu Juanrong's head. I shouted in panic, watch out, Mr. Lu. Lu Juanrong instinctively raised his arm to block while delivering a sharp kick to Shin Jincheng's stomach. The kick sent Shin Jincheng stumbling backward several steps until his lower back hit the edge of the desk, barely preventing his fall. Lu Juanrong snapped the camera shut and carefully stowed it in his backpack. Striding forward, he seized Shin Jincheng by the throat, instantly slamming him to the ground while twisting his arm behind his back in a firm restraint. That was a clean move, definitely trained. Shin Jincheng struggled violently, demanding, Su Chenyan, who is he? You dare cheat on me? Just then, a commotion erupted outside. Neighbor Auntie Zhang called out, Professor Shen, Xiao Su, what's going on? I stepped outside and said to the curious neighbors with a chuckle, no worries, just a rat got in. Mr. Shen and I are dealing with it. With that, I shut the door, glanced at the trembling Baiheji on the bed, then walked deliberately toward Shin Jincheng. Let's talk. 9. The quartz clock's second hand ticked loudly in the silent room, the only other sound being Baiheji's muffled sobs. After a moment of silence, Shin Jincheng spoke up, Heji, go home first, I'll handle things here. Baiheji stood up and left without another word. I rolled up my sleeves, stay right where you are. You're not going anywhere. Shin Jincheng stepped between us, blocking my path to Baiheji. Without a trace of guilt or panic, he was even angrier than me. Su Chenyan, Didn't you say your father was injured? Why are you back in the middle of the night? You did this on purpose, didn't you? And who is this man, your secret lover? How long has this been going on? When did you two start this affair? See, this is Shin Jincheng for you. Last lifetime when I caught him checking into a hotel with Baiheji. He pulled the same stunt, refusing to admit any wrongdoing while hurling insults at me. In his eyes, I have no redeeming qualities whatsoever. Playing the occasional round of mahjong with my work friends gets labeled as gambling addiction and neglecting my family. When I gave my brother 2,000 yuan after his car accident, he saw it as endlessly bankrolling my birth family. After decades of putting up with me, he's reached his limit. He'd rather leave with nothing than stay married, leaving with nothing. He's already broke, the house was sold, and all our savings went to pay off Baiheji's debts. He even manipulated our daughter into lying, making her claim she'd racked up online gambling debts just to swindle 150,000 out of me. I clenched my fists, barely restraining my murderous rage, then turned to glare at Lu Juanrong. With visible irritation, Lu Juanrong pulled a novel from the bookshelf and dragged over a chair without ceremony. He planted himself in the doorway like an entitled lord, crossing his legs to read. Crossing my arms, I stared straight at Shin Jincheng. That gentleman's my hired investigator. He could take down 10 of you, so behave yourself. Besides, this neighborhood's full of faculty from your university. Make a scene, and your reputation's toast. I jerked my chin toward Baiheji. This isn't fair to her either. Shin Jincheng remained silent for several minutes. Suddenly, he sighed with visible guilt. Chen Yen, Xiaobai had nothing to do with this. I had too many drinks with colleagues tonight and mistook her for you when I got back. I laughed coldly. So you're admitting you raped Xiaobai? I turned to Baiheji. Should I take you to report this to the police? Don't be afraid. We've got the evidence recorded. Baiheji shuddered. No, I can't. She lowered her head. The professor's been so good to me. I don't blame him, I scoffed. Oh, so you're admitting Professor Shin did rape you, but you're forgiving him. Funny though, from what I heard, you didn't resist at all, seemed like you were even enjoying it. Lu Juanrong couldn't help but burst out laughing. Shin Jincheng practically growled through gritted teeth. Chen Yen, we're husband and wife. Whatever issues we have should stay behind closed doors. What good does ruining my reputation do you? I'll admit my mistakes. I'll get on my knees. Just please destroy that recording. Baiheji sobbed and swore. Madam, I was wrong. I'll write you a sworn statement. I'll never return to West City or see Professor Shin again in this lifetime. I chuckled. Never see Professor Shin again, really? Would your daughter Shin Yuqing even allow that? Just as I thought. Baiheji turned deathly pale in an instant, her lips trembling uncontrollably. 10. Shin Jincheng flushed with rage. Say what you will about me, but leave Yuqing out of this. She's just a foundling. I cut him off coldly. A foundling, you're certain? I spoke measuredly. On May 10, 1988, exactly 3 months ago, I found this child on our doorstep. In the bamboo basket holding the child were several cloth diapers and a note. The mother had left it behind. Her handwriting deliberately scrawled to say her in-laws favored sons over daughters. They'd already drowned 2 baby girls before. This child, she simply couldn't bear to lose. She'd asked around. In this alleyway, Teacher Shen was the most educated, and Sister Su had the kindest heart. She begged our couple to take in this poor child. Shin Jincheng, remember when you took the baby to the police station, only to return with her shortly after? You said the officers suggested we foster her first. Perhaps the birth mother would change her mind and come back within days. And so in that lifetime, I ended up raising her for 27 years. I walked over and picked up the baby from the bed. Baiheji took 2 months off before her college entrance exams. What was she doing? Shin Jincheng, how dare you give Baiheji so much money? Because this child is clearly Baiheji's. I suddenly grabbed Baiheji's arm. Come on. We're going to the hospital for a blood test right now. Baiheji sobbed uncontrollably, struggling to break free. I won't go. Professor Shin Jincheng, help me. Shin Jincheng yanked me away. Stop this madness. If you don't want to raise this abandoned child, just say so. There's no need to slander Xiaobai. I lifted the baby with both hands. If it's not Baiheji's child, might as well drop it to its death. No. Baiheji rushed over and snatched the baby away. See. No need for a blood test at the hospital. Her maternal instinct says it all. Baiheji realized her actions were fully exposed. She slumped in defeat, clutching her child wordlessly as tears streamed down her face. Shin Jincheng crouched on the floor, fingers digging into his hair. The room plunged into silence once more. After a long pause, Shin Jincheng finally spoke. Chen, what exactly do you want? What do you want? I took a deep breath. First, divorce. Second, I want Baiheji's college admission letter. 11. Impossible. Shin Jincheng flew into a rage. Do you know how hard it was for a rural girl like her to get into a top university? Demanding her admission letter is no different from ruining her future. Su Chenyan, you're downright vicious. I shot Shin Jincheng a cold glare. Neither in this life nor the last was I ever his first choice. He's always been Baiheji's rock, supporting and protecting her. Nodding with a smile, I gave a thumbs up. Bravo, what a devoted lover. I turned to Baiheji. Xiao Bai, you're a good student. Let's do some math. You're 19 now, and you were 18 when you got pregnant with Yuqing. Getting pregnant doesn't usually happen on the first try, so tell me, were you even legal when your beloved teacher Shen slept with you? I asked Shin Jincheng with a smile. Teacher Shen, as an educated man, you must know that sleeping with an underage student is statutory rape, correct? Panic flashed in Shin Jincheng's eyes. Nonsense, Xiao Bai was already of age when we got together. Believe what you want, always. I clapped my hands mockingly. Oh, I believe you, Teacher Shen, I'd believe anything you say, but I wonder if your school administrators will believe you, or the Education Bureau, or Xiao Bai's college professors. At that very moment, Baiheji dropped to her knees with a thud, clutching her child in one arm and holding scissors to her own throat with the other. She declared with grim determination, if I can't go to college, I'd rather die with this child. Madam, isn't it my life you want? Fine, take it. Seeing the situation escalate, Lu Juanrong hastily rose to his feet. I shook my head at him, signaling him to stay out of it. Shin Jincheng lunged forward, snatched the scissors from Baiheji's hands, and pulled the girl into a tight embrace. Don't do anything foolish. With that, Shin Jincheng turned to glare at me, his eyes brimming with venom as if he wanted to tear me apart. Su Chenyan, you're truly vile. You're driving her to her death with your cruelty. I let out a cold laugh. If she actually had the guts to kill herself, I'd respect her for having some shame, but she's too selfish. She'd never dare. 12. I glanced at the quartz clock on the wall. It was already 1 a.m. This has dragged on long enough. I'm exhausted. Yawning, I headed for the door. I'm going to wake up the whole neighborhood right now and let everyone see this spectacle. Then I'll report it to the police station. Either Shin Jincheng goes to prison for raping a student, or both of you lose your reputations, jobs, and academic futures. Your choice. Shin Jincheng rushed to block my path. Chen Yan, after all we've shared as husband and wife, are you really going this far? Leaving no room at all, I stared straight at him. You fucked that bitch in our marital bed. Did you leave me any room for mercy? Shin Jincheng clenched his jaw, glaring at me before finally speaking. You'll back off if I give you the divorce papers and admission letter. That's all you want? I nodded with a faint smile. Shin Jincheng turned to Baiheji. Fetch the admission letter. Baiheji shook her head vigorously like a rattle drum. No way. College means everything to me. Shin Jincheng walked over and wrapped his arms around the girl, coaxing helplessly. But if you don't do this now, Su Chenyan will kill us both. You can retake the college entrance exams next year or the year after, with me by your side. What are you afraid of? After a long hesitation, Baiheji finally let a tear fall with a plop and nodded in agreement. She rummaged through her travel bag for the admission letter, clutching it tightly in her hand, unwilling to hand it over. I snatched it away and fished out matches from my trouser pocket. Right in front of Baiheji, I set the admission letter ablaze. Baiheji shrieked and desperately grabbed at the burning letter with bare hands. Weeping bitterly, I raised my hand and slapped her hard across the face. Baiheji glared at me furiously, gasping for breath. You, I sneered, don't look at me like that. Everyone must pay for their sins. Xiao Bai, you may have lost your education, but you've gained a man who truly loves you. That's a fair trade. With that, I quickly gathered my belongings and walked out of this prison that had trapped me. As I stepped over the threshold without looking back, I threw Shin Jincheng a final warning. We're filing for divorce first thing tomorrow. Try any tricks, and I'll make sure you both live in hell for the rest of your lives. 13. The divorce went through without a hitch. Shin Jincheng and I were oddly in sync. We didn't inform our parents and agreed to break the news when the time was right, but Shin Jincheng made one request. He claims to have paid me compensation, divorced me as I demanded, and destroyed the admission letter. Now he's just begging me to hand over that videotape. I refused. Give it to him. Not a chance. This tape will always be my trump card. With this, Baiheji can forget about going to college. With this, Shin Jincheng won't dare slander me. Whether and when to release it depends on my mood, and how well they behave. On the day of our divorce, I asked Shin Jincheng about his plans. Would he marry Baiheji? Shin Jincheng replied coldly, "None of your damn business." He said he recognized the man who beat him that night. Lu Juanrong, a Hong Kong-based director, had previously advertised open casting calls in newspapers. Recently, many actresses from theater troupes across the country have been coming to Xiqing for auditions. Shin Jincheng sneered that I was a scheming gold digger who'd been aiming to be someone's mistress all along. He wished me a lofty flight followed by a brutal fall, hoping I'd get dumped soon. I have class. May that adulterous pair Shin and Baiheji grow old together, if they don't get struck by lightning first while crossing the street. Finally, I gave him one last reminder. Baiheji looks innocent, but she's actually calculating. That night when we were fighting so badly, you desperately defended her, yet all she cared about was getting into college. Never mind if you'd be labeled a rapist. I warned him to keep a close eye on that young wife of his, or she might just run off with another man. Shin Jincheng cursed me out for my harsh words, then walked away without looking back. I turned and walked the opposite way. 3 decades of marriage, 2 lifetimes of entanglement, finally reached a temporary full stop. From then on, we went our separate ways, never to cross paths again. 14. A month later, with his mainland affairs settled, Lu Juanrong took me back to Hong Kong. Before departure, we had a meal at a Cantonese cha chan teng. He sipped black tea while reading the newspaper. After finishing the shrimp dumplings, I hurried to write the letter. Lu Juanrong glanced sideways and drawled, "What are you writing?" My pen flew across the paper. "Writing to my cousin in West City, asking her to look after my parents when she has time. Actually, I'm writing an anonymous whistleblower letter." In the letter, I reported to Xiqing Education Bureau that Shin Jincheng, a teacher from First High School, committed adultery with a female student, utterly unethical and unfit to be an educator. Just let them off that easily. Not a chance. A faint smile played on my lips, my heart brimming with contentment. Lu Juanrong flipped his newspaper with a sneer. Burning Baiheji's admission letter won't stop her from retaking the college entrance exam next year. And this is your grand retaliation. Pathetic. I suppose this counts as an amicable parting with your husband. I answered evasively. Every civilized farewell is built upon countless heartbreaks. By letting him go, I'm freeing myself too. I'd never tell Lu Juanrong. When poverty comes in at the door, love flies out the window. A young child and a useless husband, what deeper hell could drag a woman down? Little did I know that by year's end, Shin Jincheng's mother would suffer a stroke and become bedridden, with the second son stationed in Yunnan and Shin Jincheng, the eldest, being both meddlesome and image-conscious. The burden of caring for his mother fell entirely on his wife. Naturally, the cunning and selfish Baiheji might even abandon her own daughter to flee this living hell without hesitation. That's why I'm writing this exposé. I must expose Shin Jincheng and Baiheji's illicit affair, make their relationship public, and bind them together irrevocably. I won't give her the slightest chance to escape Shin Jincheng, let alone allow her to attend university. Debts must be repaid. It's that simple. Time to go. Lu Juanrong folded his newspaper and put on sunglasses. "Miss Su, you should change your stage name. The current one's a bit tacky," I quickly asked. "Then, what should I go by?" Lu Juanrong pondered for a moment. "Suzy, how much of spring's essence do you truly understand?" "All right." 15. The developments in Hong Kong City unfolded unexpectedly, yet somehow inevitably. Lu Juanrong's earlier mainland audition for actresses was for the art film Romance in West City, specifically produced with award ambitions. The female lead ultimately went to Hong Kong's art film queen, Yin Yuan. The supporting female role, specifically the character who speaks Xiqing dialect, went to a girl from the Xiqing opera troupe. She's stunningly beautiful with exceptional skills in vocal delivery, stage presence, and overall performance. I wasn't cast in any of the roles. Lu Juanrong was blunt with me. The reason he signed me in the first place was because he saw something special in my acting. But this industry is overflowing with talented, gorgeous actresses, with zero acting experience. He lacked the patience to train me. No way was I getting cast directly. Lu Juanrong signed me to a 6-month probationary contract. During this period, he'd get me into at least 2 productions. No guarantees on screen time. After 6 months, if I didn't meet his standards, we'd part ways. In other words, I'm completely on my own in this journey of self-improvement. Right after signing the contract, The ever-busy Lu Juanrong jetted off to the UK, Sister Fong grumbled, Ron's being downright heartless. Ziyi's a young, pretty girl who's new to Hong Kong. Not only is he not paying her, but he won't even arrange accommodation, I quickly interjected. Mr. Lu did me a huge favor during my divorce and gave me this opportunity. He's been my benefactor, I really can't ask for more. Of course, Sister Fong, you've been my guardian angel too. I'll never forget your kindness when you gave me clean clothes during my lowest moment. Sister Fong waved her hand with a laugh, her plump cheeks dimpling sweetly. Oh, it was nothing, just a small favor. Sister Fong is truly wonderful. She went out of her way to help me find the perfect apartment. Finally, Sister Fong told me she'd arrange for me to join a historical drama crew in November. She advised me to interact more with locals in Harbor City, as my biggest challenge right now is the language barrier. I thanked her repeatedly for the advice. After a night of careful consideration, I mapped out a 6-month plan for myself. First and foremost, I need to address basic survival needs. I don't have much money on hand, so I need to find a job. After careful consideration, I decided to take a part-time job at a fried chicken fast food joint with daily pay. This way I can practice my communication skills while staying available if the film crew contacts me. Also, no matter how tight money gets, I'll set aside some funds for skincare products and maintain a daily workout routine. The face is one's calling card, one's greatest asset. Ultimately, I must read voraciously, and attractive appearance means nothing if I can't comprehend scripts or lack understanding, which would be fatal for an actor. My daily schedule is packed to the brim, exhausting, yet exhilarating. Think back to past lives. I plan my adopted daughter's education, nurture her talents, tend to sick elders, and care for my husband. I am a mother, a filial daughter-in-law, a devoted wife. Yet I am never Su Chenyen, never truly myself. Until now, everything I strive for is for myself. Now, I am Su Ziyi, 16, November is coming soon. Sister Fong got me into the film crew. I'm playing a minor role with barely any screen time, not even a single line of dialogue, to put it bluntly, just an extra. Yet I get to witness firsthand how a film crew operates and observe actors' techniques up close. Naturally, as a nobody like me, being ignored, sneered at, or treated with prejudice comes as no surprise. What's the big deal? If you can't earn your keep with dignity, then bend your back. During this time, I kept hearing scattered news about West City. Shin Jincheng is under investigation. 17. Shortly after the high school semester began, the Xiqing Education Bureau received an anonymous tip. The letter alleged an inappropriate relationship between one high school teacher Shin Jincheng and his student Bai Heji. The Education Bureau immediately ordered the school to conduct an internal investigation. The allegations were later confirmed to be true. Soon after, news of my divorce from Shin Jincheng spread like wildfire. Rumors began circulating that Shin Yuqing might actually be Shin Jincheng and Bai Heji's daughter. Both parties vehemently denied the allegations. They only admitted to becoming involved after the college entrance exams, by which time he'd already divorced Su Chenyen. And Bai Heji had graduated and was legally an adult. Since when does the Education Bureau micromanage people's love lives? That being said, a teacher getting involved with a former student is highly inappropriate. Shin Jincheng was originally slated to become grade-level coordinator next semester, having previously mentored several students who got into top universities. This scandal completely ruined Shin Jincheng's reputation. Those who had grudges against him or envied him seized the opportunity to submit incriminating materials, kicking him when he was down. After repeated deliberations, the Education Bureau and school authorities decided to suspend Shin Jincheng from all duties at one high school. Shin Jincheng desperately pulled strings and even got several students to testify for him, barely managing to keep his job. However, he was transferred to a remote rural school, making his return to the provincial capital nearly impossible. This was more agonizing for Shin Jincheng than death itself, but at least he had the girl he loved by his side. Rumor has it they're already engaged. That's wonderful. Lock it down for good. 6 months flew by in a blink, and finally, the temporary contract expired. It was time for Lu Juanrong to evaluate my performance. 18. Early in the morning, I got up to freshen up and dress to impress. I gathered all my study notes and reading journals from the past 6 months, waiting anxiously with butterflies in my stomach. At noon, Sister Fong called to say Lu Juanrong had just returned from the set and we'd have a meeting at 2 p.m. He'll have a 20-minute coffee break at 4 p.m. I quickly packed up and hailed a cab to Lu Juanrong's company using the address Sister Feng provided. It had been ages since I last saw Sister Feng. I rushed forward and gave her a big hug. Zi. You've grown even more beautiful. Sister Feng looked me up and down with a smile, and more confident too. Sister Feng led me to Lu Juanrong's office. Ron's in a meeting that won't wrap up anytime soon. Why don't you wait here? Tea or coffee? Worried the drink might make me jittery and send me running to the restroom. I quickly smiled and declined. No thanks, Sister Feng. I'm good without anything. Sister Feng sat down and reassured me. Relax. You're already outstanding. I've checked with friends from those 3 crews you worked with. They all say you're diligent and easygoing. I asked softly, what about Director Liu? How do you think he feels? Sister Feng chuckled. Shouldn't be an issue. None of the artists we signed this year match your qualifications. Don't worry. Just as they were speaking, the door swung open. In walked an exceptionally beautiful biracial girl, about 4 years old, with delicate features resembling Lu Juanrong's. Close behind her came a woman in her 40s carrying a water bottle and school bag. The little girl skipped around searching everywhere, asking in a sweet, childish voice, "Where's Daddy? Where is he?" I looked at Fengjie in surprise. Fengjie whispered, "This is Ron's daughter, Joey, Lu Qiaoyi. She's 4 years old. The woman with her is her nanny, Auntie Lan." I was even more shocked. Director Lu got married. Fengjie shook her head, covering her mouth as she murmured, "Joey's mother is British." She loved Ron deeply, but marriage was never in Ron's vocabulary. They broke up 3 years ago. Now she's married to a tycoon and living the good life. This juicy gossip left me utterly stunned. I nudged Fengjie with my elbow and gasped, "How dare you spill Director Lu's private affairs like this?" Fengjie burst out laughing. Private? This was front-page tabloid material for years, all about our playboy Lu Juanrong's romantic escapades. You just never paid attention to celebrity gossip. Just then, Lu Qiaoyi came running up to me. The little girl leaned her arms against my legs, gazing up at me with wide, curious eyes. I marveled inwardly. What a living doll she was, dressed in a lace gown with porcelain skin, delicate features, and thick, long lashes. Unable to resist, I bent down and gently stroked the little girl's hair. "Who are you?" Lu Qiaoyi beamed sweetly. "Auntie, you're so pretty. Are you Daddy's girlfriend?" I froze. For such a young child to understand the concept of a girlfriend, she must have either seen or heard it too often. I was just about to say no. Suddenly, Lu Qiaoyi pouted, stood on tiptoe, and slapped me with her tiny hand. "I hate you, you mean woman." 19. Aunt Lan rushed over, crouched down to hug the little girl, and soothed gently. "We don't hit people, sweetheart. Let's go." Lu Qiaoyi stuck her tongue out at me, then took Aunt Lan's hand and walked away. Sister Feng hurried over to check my face and whispered, "You okay? Ron's little princess is spoiled rotten, got a bit of a temper. Don't take it personally." I gave her a reassuring smile. "It's fine." Just then, Lu Qiaoyi, who'd already reached the doorway, suddenly came running back. She climbed onto me and gleefully played with the Mickey Mouse charm on my bag, bossing Sister Feng around. "I want this. Take it off for me." Sister Feng gave me a resigned look and sighed. "Fine. Just let her have it." With that, Sister Feng reached to unfasten the plush charm from my bag. I stopped her hand and shook my head at her. I leaned down to meet Lu Qiaoyi's gaze. "If you want it, you'll have to ask properly." With wide, innocent eyes, Lu Qiaoyi reached out her hand. "Then give it to me." "No." I shook my head. "You were very rude earlier, so I'm upset now. I don't want to give it to you." Clearly unused to being refused, Lu Qiaoyi instantly flared up. "You're mean. I'll tell Daddy to fire you. I want that Mickey Mouse. Give it to me now." I held Lu Qiaoyi's little arm. Throwing tantrums makes children very unlovable. "No presents for grumpy kids." Lu Qiaoyi pouted. "But I hate you. I just want to be mean to you." Keeping my patience, I said, "First, I'm not your dad's girlfriend. Second, you've misunderstood me. Don't you think you should apologize?" Lu Qiaoyi's tiny face showed enormous confusion. Just then, Nanny Aunt Lan approached. Clearly unwilling to let Lu Qiaoyi apologize to someone like me, she quickly took the little girl's hand. "Time for dinner. You haven't eaten your vegetables properly today. Your father would be upset if he found out." To everyone's surprise, Lu Qiaoyi shook off Aunt Lan and clung to me instead. Since you're not Daddy's girlfriend, I shouldn't have hit you. I'm sorry." She fingered the Mickey Mouse charm. "Can I have this?" I smiled. "If you eat your vegetables properly, I might just give it to you as a reward." Upon hearing this, Lu Qiaoyi urged Aunt Lan, "I want to eat now, right this minute." Aunt Lan took out a thermal lunchbox from her bag and knelt down to feed Lu Qiaoyi. Unexpectedly, the little girl pointed at me and said, "I want this pretty auntie to feed me." Placing the lunchbox on an empty chair nearby, I told the little girl, "You're 4 years old now, time to eat by yourself." Lu Qiaoyi paused for a moment, then picked up the child's fork herself. Speared a piece of vegetable, and ate while watching me. I nodded gently and encouraged her, "Take big bites." Aunt Lon exclaimed in surprise, "My goodness, I've never seen Cherry so obedient before. Miss, you're truly amazing." I just smiled, "Amazing? Not really, I've just raised children before, that's all." 20. After Lu Qiaoyi finished her meal, I rewarded her with a Mickey Mouse plush toy. We made a deal, if she eats her vegetables properly from now on, I'll give her a Donald Duck plush. Lu Qiaoyi jumped for joy and tugged at me to play games with her. After playing for a while, she got sleepy. Aunt Lon was about to take her home. Lu Qiaoyi burst into tears and refused to leave, throwing another tantrum as she insisted on seeing Daddy. I knew the little girl was actually missing her father. Sister Feng noticed it too and hesitated, but Ron's in a meeting now, followed by a script reading session. Who knows when he'll be free? If Joey pesters him at this moment, he'll definitely lose his temper. After a moment's thought, I beckoned to Lu Qiaoyi. "How about Auntie tells you a story?" Lu Qiaoyi sniffled with her little red nose. "What stories do you know?" I said gently. "Oh, I know plenty. Cinderella, The Little Mermaid, Monkey King." Lu Qiaoyi snuggled into my arms and reached up, asking to be held. I cradled her in my arms just like I did with Xin Yuqing all those years ago, holding her close, gently patting her arm while telling her a story. Lu Qiaoyi's tiny hand rested naturally against my chest, her thumb in her mouth as she stared at me with wide, unblinking eyes. Gradually, ever so gradually, she drifted off to sleep. When Aunt Lon tried to take her later, she clung to me crying, "It's alright, I'll hold it." Time ticked by, and about 20 minutes later, the door was pushed open from outside. Lu Jianrong walked in. Half a year had passed since we last met. He'd grown leaner, with his hair cropped shorter, giving him an even more dashing appearance. Our eyes met. He froze for 2 seconds before striding over and snatching the child from my arms. Lu Qiaoyi, still half asleep, clung to my neck and whimpered, "Mommy, hold me." I stood stunned, turning to look at Lu Jianrong. Lu Jianrong's gaze turned icy as he roughly took the child and handed her to Aunt Lon, snapping, "Who gave you permission to bring her to the office?" Aunt Lon quickly apologized. "I'm sorry, sir, it won't happen again." After Aunt Lon carried Lu Qiaoyi away, Lu Jianrong turned slowly, his gaze icy as he stared at me. "Suzy, what exactly do you mean by this?" 21. Seeing Lu Jianrong's sudden outburst, I realized Qiaoyi's accidental mommy must have triggered him. He probably thought I'd put the child up to something. I quickly explained, "I was just..." Lu Jianrong cut me off sharply. "Are you having improper thoughts about my daughter?" Seeing the tension, Sister Feng hurriedly defended me. "Ron, I was there the whole time. Ziyi really didn't say anything inappropriate to Joey." "Shut up." Lu Jianrong snapped at Feng Jia, pointing at me sharply. "Don't think I don't know what you're scheming. Your temporary contract is expiring. You want an extension. To stay in Hong Kong, to be a star, to be famous. So you've set your sights on my daughter." My nose stung with held-back tears. "I didn't. Lu Jianrong's gaze turned piercing. "Then why is she calling you mommy and no one else?" "Suzy, do you think I don't know who you really are? You literally knelt in the street begging for that interview. I had people dig into your past. Your ex-husband Shin Jincheng was ruined by an anonymous tip, now rotting in some backwater village. Don't pretend you didn't write that letter. I saw you drafting it myself the day you returned to Hong Kong." Sister Feng stepped in. "Ron, Ziyi's marital grievances are her own business. Whatever she did concerns no one else, least of all today's matter. You've got this all wrong." Lu Jianrong's rage flared. I said, "Shut your mouth. Are you deaf?" He turned to me. "Mark my words, Suzy, no decent agency in Hong Kong would touch a scheming woman like you. Consider yourself blacklisted. Want fame? Fine, go shoot softcore porn while you're still young. In a few years, nobody will want to look at that sagging flesh of yours." My fists clenched until fingernails bit into my palms. "Director Lu, don't you think that's crossing a line?" Lu Jianrong jabbed a finger toward the door. "Get out." It felt like an invisible slap across my face. I opened my mouth to explain further. Unexpectedly, Lu Jianrong directly called the landline. His voice icy. "Security, come upstairs." I knew he was furious and had already formed a fixed, negative opinion about my character. He wouldn't hear a word of my explanation. Wiping away my tears, I bowed deeply to him. "You'll always be my benefactor and mentor." With that, I turned and left. As I stepped out, I turned back and told him, "Spend more time with your daughter when you can, look how spoiled she's become under your indulgence." 22. The rain began to fall. The wind carried raindrops that chilled the skin with each cold touch. Sitting on the garden steps, I watched the endless stream of cars and people, feeling a sudden hollowness inside. This is a city of dazzling splendor, teeming with dreams, yet the waking reality cuts deeper than any dream. 6 months ago, I set sail from here with hope in my heart. Now, the ship has sunk. Suddenly, an umbrella appeared over my head. It was Sister Fong. She sat beside me, looking at me with concern. "Z, are you okay?" I couldn't hold back anymore. Tears streamed down as I clung to her and sobbed. Sister Fong rubbed my back. "Don't blame Ron. A project he really cared about fell through today. He's in a terrible mood, and when it comes to anything about Joey, he's extra sensitive. That daughter is the apple of his eye." I sobbed. "But I never meant to take advantage of Chowie." I know, Sister Fong spat out. "Ron really crossed the line this time. But that stubborn mule would never apologize even if he knew he was wrong." "Z, what are your plans now?" Hearing Sister Fong's words, I already had my answer. Lu Juanrong has completely turned against me. There's not a shred of hope left for reconciliation. / I don't know. / I lowered my head, wrapping my arms around myself. After what he said, I guess my chances in Hong Kong's film industry are gone. Sister Fong sighed non-committally. I forced a smile, but tears kept falling. "Thank you, Sister Fong, you've always looked out for me. I'd hoped to make it big someday to repay you, but it seems that chance is lost." Sister Fong pulled me into a hug. "Fate brought us together. No need for thanks. I truly admire your decisiveness and clear principles. Whatever path you choose, I know you'll succeed." After chatting a while longer, Sister Fong had work commitments and bid me farewell. That night, sleep eluded me completely. I needed to rethink my next steps. 23. In the following days, I kept trying to land extra roles by visiting different film crews, but none would take me on. I instantly realized Lu Juanrong meant every word he said. Rent was due soon, and I was running dangerously low on cash. I had no choice but to keep working side jobs. I used to work with passion and engage with people, driven by clear goals, but now I'm utterly exhausted, unable to muster enthusiasm for anything. The thought of leaving Harbor City has even crossed my mind. Yet returning home empty-handed with my tail between my legs is unacceptable. I figure a heavyweight director like Lu Juanrong was just momentarily angry. He wouldn't bother holding a grudge against some nobody like me. If I lay low for a month or two until he cools off and forgets about me completely, I can start hustling for crew jobs again. This thought lifted my spirits and eased the gloom. I stuck to my usual routine: daily workouts, reading, and side gigs. On the 10th day after Lu Juanrong's scolding, Sister Fong came looking for me. Beaming with joy, she extended her hand toward me. "Z, Ron wants to sign a long-term contract with you. Are you interested?" The sudden news left me frozen in place. "But, doesn't he despise me?" Sister Fong shrugged and complained. "Who knows about him? He changes his mind like the weather." Later, Sister Fong told me, after waiting for Lu Juanrong to cool down, she seized the right moment to show him all the notes I'd compiled over 6 months. That Sundara Lu Juanrong just sneered and ordered Sister Fong to throw them away. Sister Fong lost her temper too. "You brought that young girl to Hong Kong yourself, then disappeared for half a year. Now you show up just to scold her and kick her out without even hearing her side. If you want to throw away those notes, do it yourself. I want no part in this." Sister Fong mentioned that later. She peeked and saw Lu Juanrong going through my notes. On top of that, Lu Chowie clung to Lu Juanrong all day, begging the pretty auntie to tell her stories. She absolutely adored playing with her. It was one of those fresh afternoons right after the rain had cleared. Lu Juanrong called Sister Fong and Aunt Lon over, listening intently as they recounted everything that had happened in the office that day. After a long silence, he made his decision. Sister Fong asked me, "Ron wants to sign a 5-year contract with you. Are you willing?" I nodded eagerly like a pecking chick. "Absolutely, I'd love to." 24. I've officially signed with Lu Juanrong's entertainment and film production company. It hasn't been an easy journey. I moved out of that cramped, run-down place. The company leased me a much nicer apartment. No more public baths for me. I've got my own bathroom now. Shortly after signing the contract, Sister Fong called me saying Lu Chowie still remembered me and wanted me to play with her, asking if I'd be willing to come. Without a second thought, I immediately packed my things. "Absolutely willing." Sister Fang drove me to the Liu family villa. The moment I stepped out of the car, Xiaoyi came running over. The little girl hugged my leg and cooed, "Pretty auntie, did you bring me a present?" I crouched down and ruffled her hair. Of course. Has Xiaoyi been eating her veggies lately? Lu Xiaoyi nodded vigorously with childish delight. Not just veggies, I drink milk every day too. That's wonderful, I said, pulling a Donald Duck plush from my bag. Xiaoyi's eyes sparkled as she eagerly grabbed it. Wow, thank you, auntie. I glanced around and whispered to Aunt Lon beside me, "Is Director Lu home?" Aunt Lon smiled. "He's in the study, probably working on a script." I nodded in acknowledgement. I spent the morning playing with Xiaoyi, made her lunch, and watched her take an afternoon nap. I should have left by then. After much deliberation, I gathered my courage and asked Aunt Lon to brew me some coffee before knocking on the study door with the tray in hand. Lu Juanrong's cool voice came from inside. "Enter, 25. My heart was pounding, my palms slick with sweat. A faint blend of tobacco and cologne greeted me as I stepped inside. The spacious study boasted floor-to-ceiling shelves crammed with literary classics, bestsellers, and extensive collections of CDs and vinyl records. Lu Juanrong sat behind the desk in casual wear, his gold-rimmed glasses and slightly tousled bangs lending him an air of refined intellect. I have to admit, he's undeniably handsome, but his temper is absolutely foul. He was completely absorbed in sketching movie storyboard frames on paper, his drawings remarkably lifelike and masterfully executed. "Still here," Lu Juanrong said quietly without looking up. I snapped back to reality and moved to hand him the coffee, then hesitated, afraid I might spill it and stain his manuscript. Lu Juanrong looked up with a scoff. "The way you lectured me so righteously the other day, and now you're acting like a timid old woman." I stared in disbelief. "When did I ever lecture you? I wouldn't dare." Lu Juanrong tapped the table, signaling me to put down the coffee. "Who was it that slammed the door and lectured me about spending more time with my daughter?" I shook my head with a wry smile. "He actually calls that a lecture." Setting down the coffee, I hovered near him, torn with indecision. "Anything else?" Lu Juanrong took a sip from his cup. I gave a formal bow. "Thank you for giving me another chance." Lu Juanrong raised his hand slightly. "Ah Fong said you've got potential. Thank her instead." At that, we both fell silent. He was absorbed in sketching while I stood there awkwardly, rooted to the spot. "Spit it all out at once if you've got more to say." Lu Juanrong lit a cigarette and took a drag. I always get nervous around him. After hesitating for a long moment, I stammered, "Well, Sister Fong said she'd get me a minor role in a cop film next month. But I don't think I'm experienced enough. I want to take acting classes." Lu Juanrong scoffed. "What? You think entertaining Joey for half a day earns you the right to make demands?" I mustered my courage. "This has nothing to do with Xiaoyi. Our contract clearly states the company must provide training for artists. Besides, you personally signed me. If I bomb on stage, it's your reputation on the line, and if I succeed, I'll start making you money faster." Lu Juanrong smirked dismissively. "You're light years away from turning a profit. Now get out," I protested urgently. "But..." Lu Juanrong frowned. "Get out. Alright." I admit I'm a little afraid of him. Having failed to achieve my goal, I could only leave in frustration. After getting home, I worked out for over an hour to somewhat ease the sting of rejection. I'd just finished my evening shower and put on a face mask when Fang Jie's call came through. "Ziyi, I've got fantastic news. Ron managed to secure you a spot in the TV station's acting training program." "Good heavens. You have no idea how exclusive that program is. They only accept their own signed artists." Ron spent hours negotiating with the network executives. He had to promise the lead role in his next movie to one of their talents before they'd agree. I'm so overwhelmed with joy that I can't even process it yet. Sister Fang asked, "Why so quiet?" Pressing a hand to my pounding chest, I said, "I begged him earlier today, but he refused." "I thought he wouldn't care at all." Sister Fang laughed. "He's all bark and no bite. Truth is, he's been feeling guilty about losing his temper with you last time, but that pride of his won't let him admit it." "Congratulations, Ziyi." With tears in my eyes, I said, "Thank you, Sister Fang. I'll cherish this opportunity." 26. Soon after, I joined the TV station's artist training program as a transfer student. My classmates were all exceptionally talented, several familiar names who I believe will become future award-winning actors. Our instructor was a seasoned actor who delivered lessons with wit and charm. I can genuinely feel my growing understanding of acting. During the acting program, I not only learned a great deal but also expanded my network. landing minor roles and commercial gigs. A top-tier producer offered me a supporting role in a high-budget period martial arts drama with an A-list crew. I want this. This isn't up to me. I have to follow the company's decision. Lu Juanrong's call. Lu Juanrong said TV series take way longer to produce. It's a completely different ballgame from films. He advised against me going. I caught his underlying message. Being away for extended periods means I can't be there for Qiaoyi consistently. Qiaoyi's become more attached to me lately. She insists I take her to kindergarten instead of letting Sister Lan do it. The poor child never knew her birth mother, so she's cast me in that maternal role. It's really quite heartbreaking. I visit the Lu household often, so I frequently run into Lu Juanrong. In his spare time, he'd often give me guidance and taught me a great deal. This was an incredibly rare opportunity that I truly cherished. Though he often wore a sour expression, our interactions gradually made our relationship less awkward. During Christmas, when Lu Juanrong was on leave, Cherry wanted us to take her to the amusement park. Kids recharge in 10 minutes and stay energized for 24 hours, after coming home at night. Cherry showed no signs of fatigue and insisted on making her exhausted parents play eagle catches chicks with her. I was the mother hen, with Cherry clutching my clothes as we dodged Lu Juanrong. The eagle, Daddy, come catch me. Cherry laughed joyfully, beads of sweat glistening on her forehead. Lu Juanrong growled playfully, here comes the eagle. I spread my arms wide. Cherry, look out. Lu Juanrong pounced, tackling us both to the ground. Got you now. Lu Juanrong tickled the child playfully. Cherry giggled, rolling on the plush carpet. Mommy Ziyi, save me. I froze, suddenly remembering how half a year ago in the office, Cherry's drowsy mommy had earned me Lu Juanrong's scathing reprimand that cut to the bone. A bad premonition flashed through my mind as I hurriedly looked at Lu Juanrong. To my surprise, Lu Juanrong showed no unusual reaction. He kept playing with the child as usual, even lightly tapping my forehead while saying, "This mother hen is so silly, letting the eagle steal all her chicks." Snapping out of my daze, I pretended to snatch Cherry away. The three of us laughed and roughhoused together until late at night when Cherry needed to sleep. I gave Cherry a bath, told her a bedtime story, and only left after she'd fallen asleep. Downstairs, I saw Lu Juanrong sitting on the rug by the fireplace, sipping red wine while reading. As usual, I quietly turned to leave. Unexpectedly, he called out, "Care for a drink?" 27. I walked over and took a seat across from him. He poured me a glass of red wine. Try this, it's a premium vintage from a friend's private cellar. I murmured an agreement and took a big gulp. Tasted awful. Noticing my grimace, Lu Juanrong raised an eyebrow. Not to your liking. I nodded honestly. Can't appreciate fancy foreign liquor. Still prefer good old baijiu. Lu Juanrong shook his head with a laugh. Next time I'll treat you to mitai then. Only a dim yellow lamp lit the first floor. Flickering fireplace flames cast shadows across his strikingly handsome features. His white loungewear hung open at the chest, 2 buttons undone to reveal toned muscles. Then he leaned in, his mountain-like frame looming over me. My mouth went dry with nerves as I leaned back to avoid him. Humph. Lu Juanrong chuckled softly, brushing a stray glitter fleck from my hair. He settled back into his seat and took a sip of his drink. My heart raced wildly, the fireplace heat becoming oppressive. I'd barely drunk anything, yet felt strangely intoxicated. Joey really likes you. Lu Juanrong swirled his wine glass. She's become much brighter since you came into her life. Those little bad habits and temper tantrums have gradually disappeared. Thank you, Ziyi. I waved my hand. Don't mention it. I genuinely like Cherry too. Lu Juanrong clinked glasses with me. Those things I said about you before, that was way out of line. My bad. I pretended to clean my ear. Wow. Fangjia said you're as stubborn as a mule who never admits mistakes. Did I hear that right? Lu Juanrong reached for the desk phone. Fang actually badmouths me behind my back. I'm docking her pay. I grabbed his arm hastily. No no no. Punish me instead if you must. A smirk played on his lips as his gaze dropped to my hand. I quickly let go of him, clenching my fists behind my back. The unspoken tension crackled between us like sparklers fizzing with clandestine sparks. Lu Juanrong tucked my stray hair behind my ear and asked softly, I turned down 3 drama offers for you this past year, all became huge hits after airing. Are you upset? I leaned back slightly, forcing a light-hearted smile to mask my sinking heart. You've been in this industry long enough to know what suits me. That's good. Lu Juanrong smiled faintly. I glanced at my watch. I should head back now. Lu Juanrong said casually, it's quite late. It's not safe for you to go back alone. Why don't you stay here tonight? I chuckled. No worries, I'm driving, I'll be home in no time. 28. Shortly after Christmas, Sister Fong excitedly informed me that the company had secured me a sweet deal, a period film scripted by renowned screenwriter Liang Chaosheng. Deep down I knew this opportunity came from Lu Juanrong's connections. To be precise, it was his way of compensating me for accompanying his daughter. Before filming began, Lu Juanrong walked me through the scenes in detail, reassuring me not to feel pressured since I was only the third female lead. The spotlight would be on the main actress and supporting lead. I've read the script. All my scenes combined would take at most a month to shoot, so it wouldn't interfere with taking care of Chowie. Before leaving, I pinky promised Chowie that I'd never abandon her and would return soon. I joined the film crew in no time. The set atmosphere was fairly harmonious. The leading lady, accomplished in acting, singing and film, was remarkably down-to-earth. The male lead Lin Yanqi, fresh off winning Best Newcomer award, has a boundless future ahead. I learned so much during filming and truly enjoyed the experience. The only downside was the second female lead Sun Manning being such a drama queen. She seemed to have it out for me. We kept retaking this slapping scene until my face was swollen by noon. Oops, sorry Zee. Sun Manning handed me an ice pack with this fake innocent look, saying it's my first time acting. Cut me some slack, sis, don't be mad. I swallowed my anger. Landing a supporting female lead role in your first acting gig, someone powerful must be backing you. My face burned with pain as I forced a smile. No worries, I'm fine with multiple takes if it makes the final cut better. Sun Manning shot me a disdainful glance but replied sweetly, how very understanding of you. After she left, I quietly turned to Sister Fong beside me. What's her deal? All I know is she made it to the top 10 in last year's Miss Harbor City pageant. Sister Fong picked up the powder puff to touch up my makeup. Fuming, she left actual finger marks. That woman's vicious. She carefully closed the dressing room door and whispered, sugar daddy money. Obviously, with her wooden acting, she wouldn't even qualify as an extra otherwise, so that's how it is. I gingerly touched my stinging cheek. But I'm not even competing for her sponsor. Why, she had it in for me since day one of filming. Sister Fong smirked. She's Ron's XXX. The whole industry's been gossiping about how Ron pulled strings to get you into that TV acting program. That woman's vicious. She once poked holes in condoms trying to baby trap him, got dumped when Ron found out. Now she thinks you're his new favorite and is jealous, so she's messing with you. So that's how it is. Sister Fong warned me about Lu Juanrong being a playboy. Now I see what she meant. Ex-girlfriends everywhere you look. 29. I only had one scene in the afternoon, but just as I was leaving, Sun Manning started her drama again. My diamond ring is gone. Sun Manning flew into a rage, claiming her newly auctioned pink diamond, worth a fortune and as big as a pigeon egg, must have been stolen by someone. She ordered the director to lock down the set, forbidding anyone to leave while her assistants rummaged through everyone's bags one by one. Though exasperated, the director had no choice but to indulge the diva's whims. Her sugar daddy, being the production's investor who couldn't be crossed, searched everywhere but found nothing. In the end, only the lead actors and I remained unchecked. I see, this is targeting me again. Z, mind if I go through your bag? Sun Manning crossed her arms, a sly smile playing on her crimson lips. Knowing full well my bag had been tampered with, I replied coldly, I do mind. I stood my ground. You have no right to search my belongings. Only the police can do that. Sun Manning sneered and rolled her eyes. Sister Z, refusing a search. What are you hiding? The moment she finished speaking, she ordered her assistants to snatch mine and Sister Fong's bags. I couldn't let her lay a finger on us. Frantically, I turned to the director. Director Lee, are you just going to stand there? Director Lee pretended to examine the equipment, turning his back. With a ripping sound, my bag was snatched and torn open, sending cosmetics and notebooks clattering to the ground. Among the scattered items was an unfamiliar velvet jewelry box. Sun Manning shrieked, my diamond ring. She stormed over in a rage and slapped me without hesitation. Caught red-handed. What else do you have to say for yourself? Sister Fong shielded me. Stop framing people. Z would never take this. Sun Manning sneered. Country bumpkins from backwaters get grabby when they see fancy jewelry. What wouldn't they stoop to? Sister Fong snapped, grabbing Sun Manning by the collar. Watch your fucking mouth. Sun Manning's bodyguards rushed forward, ready to beat up Sister Fong. Nobody fucking move. I pulled Sister Fong behind me and stared straight at Sun Manning. Let's call the police then. They can check the fingerprints on the diamond ring, that'll settle everything. A flicker of panic crossed Sun Manning's eyes before she sneered. No need to waste police resources over such trifles. Suzie, you'll kneel and apologize to me. No way. I stood my ground. This is about my reputation. I'm calling the police. I turned to the director. Director Lee. Could you help me report this? Director Lee tried to smooth things over. It's not that serious, Z. Just apologize to Manning and we'll drop it. I did nothing wrong. Why should I apologize? Director Lee scowled. So you're making everyone wait around for you. Apologize now. Trembling with anger, I was about to retort. Suddenly, a pleasant male voice came from ahead. I saw it, an hour ago. Miss Sun's assistant sneaked into Suzie's dressing room while she was filming. I turned toward the sound. The strikingly handsome man speaking was Lin Yanqi, the male lead of this drama. 30. Lin Yanqi gave me a nod and a smile, hands in pockets. I support calling the police. Let them check for fingerprints. The atmosphere suddenly turned tense, with hostility thick in the air on set. Sun Manning lashed out at Lin Yanqi, claws practically out. This is none of your business. Get lost. Lin Yanqi leaned lazily against the wall. I just can't stand by and watch. Call it meddling if you will. Just then, the cinematographer hurried in and whispered something into Director Lee's ear. Director Lee gave me a meaningful look before standing up. Enough, the set has surveillance cameras. We've got everything on tape, crystal clear. He then turned to Sun Manning. Miss Sun, do keep better track of your belongings and your people. No more leaving things, or people, where they don't belong. The implication was crystal clear. Everyone present understood perfectly. Sun Manning's face burned crimson, yet she still wanted to make a scene. Director Lee lost his temper. Are we fucking shooting or not? Get out if you can't do your job. Sun Manning froze, tears instantly welling up as she spat. You'll pay for this. With that, she turned and ran. I breathed a sigh of relief. The whole farce had ended without disaster. After the assistant director whispered a few words, Director Lee's attitude shifted. Seems I've got someone powerful backing me. A smile tugged at my lips. It had to be him. Just then, Lin Yanqi walked up to me. Thank you for earlier, I said hurriedly. Lin waved it off casually. Don't mention it. I've got your back. I asked in surprise. Why do you say that? Lin Yanqi smiled. I also graduated from the acting program, just 2 years ahead of you. That makes me your senior. I extended my hand. Well, thank you then, senior. Lin Yanqi shook my hand. Words aren't enough. How about letting me take you out to dinner? I gladly accepted. 31. Lin Yanqi still had night scenes to shoot, so we made plans to have dinner together in a few days. After leaving the set, I spotted Lu Juanrong's car from a distance. I exchanged a glance with Sister Fong, hurried over, and got into the passenger seat. I knew it was you. I grinned at Lu Juanrong, only to wince as the movement tugged at the wound on my left cheek. When did you get here? Lu leaned closer, brushing his thumb gently across my face. Came at noon. That woman really did a number on you. Does it hurt? I rolled my eyes dramatically. This is all your fault. How dare you even ask? Lu Juanrong frowned. So everyone knows now. That blabbermouth Ah Fong. I'll stitch her lips shut next time. Don't blame Sister Fong. Without her heads up, I'd never have known why I offended people. I straightened up nervously. Sister Fong said Sun Manning has powerful backers. Aren't you worried about making enemies by having Director Lee do this? Worried about me? Huh. Lounging back in his chair, Lu Juanrong drawled. Her sugar daddy's a Zhu, and I've already contacted Mrs. Zhu. Get the picture? It clicked instantly. By the way, Lu Juanrong shot me a sidelong glance. I saw you laughing it up with Lin Yanqi earlier. What were you two chatting about? The words tumbled out. Turns out he trained at the same acting studio. That makes him my senior. Handsome, decent, brilliant actor. He even asked me to dinner just now. Lu Juanrong's eyes darkened as he twirled a strand of my hair between his fingers, asking with a smirk, so, are you going? My gut screamed danger. If I said yes, Lu Juanrong would definitely lose his temper. No. Without hesitation, I replied, my career's just taking off. I can't afford any scandals. Lu Juanrong arched an eyebrow. Good, at least you're not stupid. I looked at him and countered. A producer invited me to star in an erotic film, promising no nudity. He said these movies sell well and would boost my fame. What do you think? Should I take it? Lu Juanrong lifted my chin with his index finger. Not a chance. Then he leaned in for a kiss. Instinctively, I pulled back, but then met him halfway. 32. I'm with Lu Juanrong now. His bedroom manner is as domineering as his personality. We didn't leave the bedroom for 3 straight days, during subsequent shoots. Lee Juanrong visited the set whenever he could, though Lee Juanrong never made it official. Practically the entire crew took it for granted that we were dating. Lin Yanqi hadn't spoken to me for days. When he finally approached me, he was surprisingly candid. "I was planning to pursue you, but turns out you're already taken." He hesitated before blurting out in a roundabout way. Director Liu's got the looks and talent. Plenty of actresses have a crush on him. I thanked him and said I knew what I was doing. Thanks to Mrs. Zhu and Lee Juanrong's influence, the screenwriter revised the script, significantly increasing my screen time. During post-production editing, Sun Manning's scenes ended up on the cutting room floor. I officially became the second female lead. During promotions, footage leaked of Sun Manning slapping and falsely accusing me on set. Sun Manning's scandals exploded overnight, with tabloids brazenly publishing photos of her topless at drinking parties. Sun Manning got blacklisted. The public outrage drowned her, while I, the actual victim, stepped into the spotlight, reaping waves of sympathy and attention. I never heard about Sun Manning again. Some say she couldn't handle the online abuse and had a mental breakdown. Others claim Madame Zhu put her in her place. My first supporting role film released at year-end to critical acclaim. My rising fame brought numerous endorsement deals and acting offers. Many journalists wrote flattering press releases about my acting skills, but on the flip side, rival studios and media outlets kept digging up dirt on me. When you get down to it, it's just the usual romantic gossip. It does get annoying sometimes, but bad publicity is still publicity. I'll take it all in stride. 33. My relationship with Lee Juanrong is going smoothly, and we often take Cherry out together. Sometimes I get this illusion that we're like a family of 3. I'd even fantasized about him proposing to me someday. I'd walk down the aisle in a pristine wedding dress as he slips the diamond ring onto my finger. Sister Feng would just shake her head speechlessly every time she saw me love-struck, listening to my romantic fantasies. Women in love have negative IQ. As longtime friends, she never minces words when speaking to me. Keep it flirty when dating, never get emotionally involved. Those peach blossom eyes of Ron's are the most deceptive. Sure, he dotes on you now and treats you well, but he's been just as sweet to every ex. The man's a charmer and a heartbreaker. He'll never commit to one woman. Don't give him your heart, or you'll end up shattered. I laughed and scolded him. Must you always assume the worst? Ron's genuine with me. By mid-year, I graduated from acting school. Soon after came more good news. I was nominated for Best Supporting Actress at the Golden Deer Awards. This award carries immense prestige, widely regarded as the highest honor in China's film industry. 34. As a newcomer, I dare not entertain hopes of winning. I'll just treat it as an opportunity to broaden my horizons, wearing haute couture, looking fabulous, taking stunning photos, and applauding along with everyone. When the presenter called my name, I froze for a second until Lin Yanqi sitting beside me nudged me with a chuckle, snapping me out of my daze. Wait, did I actually win? The podium steps were low, yet climbing them felt like walking through decades. The chill of the trophy in my hands as I accepted it from the presenter confirmed everything. This was real. I never dared to dream I'd be fortunate enough to receive such an honor. Beyond thanking my team and director, my deepest gratitude goes to Ron. The applause and flowers made me feel like I was walking on air, utterly magical. Right after the awards ceremony, I couldn't wait to call Lee Juanrong. I tried calling several times but couldn't get through. Sister Feng said Ron's been busy filming on location lately, probably swamped with work. Got it. Right after that, I called my parents. When they found out I divorced Shen Jincheng, they flew into a rage, calling me shameless for running off to Hong Kong with some stranger, saying I'd get trafficked without even realizing it. They tried forcing me to remarry Shen and even threatened to fly to Hong Kong to drag me back home. I told them it would never happen. They lashed out, disowning me as their daughter, then softened their tone saying Mom had a stroke because of me and begged me to come home. I knew deep down they were just worried about me, but I couldn't turn back. I held my ground against the pressure and stayed in Harbor City. At first they kept scolding me, but as I sent money home time after time, the reprimands gradually faded. When my photos appeared in newspapers and on TV, they finally believed I'd truly become a star, and started reminding me to take care of my health and not overwork myself. Now that they've heard about my award, they'll never stand in the way of my dreams again. Everything's moving in the right direction. I'll be truly happy. Right after the victory banquet, I rushed home in a hurry, since Ron was busy. I decided to celebrate with Cherry instead. To my surprise, when I got back, I saw Lu Juanrong's male assistant's car parked outside. The assistant stopped me with an awkward expression. Miss Cherry has gone to her uncle's place. The illuminated villa made everything click in an instant. I told my male assistant, don't mention to Ron that I came back, 35, dressed in an evening gown with a glass of red wine. I spent the entire night sitting in the car. At dawn the next day, a stunningly beautiful girl with a perfect figure emerged from the villa, youthful and delicate, exuding sensual allure. Lu Juanrong's male assistant drove her away. I hesitated, wrestled with my emotions, seethed with anger, then finally found peace. An hour later, having freshened my makeup and smoothed my hair, I stepped gracefully from the car and entered the villa carrying both wine and trophy. Lu Juanrong sat at the dining table in his robe, sipping coffee. The loosely tied collar revealed faint, fresh scratch marks on his chest. You're back. Lu Juanrong spread his arms wide as he approached. Congratulations, my best supporting actress. I laughed and hugged him. Best supporting actress. How bitterly ironic that sounds. I should have celebrated with you right away. Fighting back tears and forcing myself to ignore the feminine perfume clinging to him, I looked up and said, the crew's throwing a party. What can I do? Had to leave you behind for now. Lu Juanrong eyed me from head to toe, admiration gleaming in his eyes. A masterpiece. I caught the live stream last night. My ZE looked absolutely stunning. We both knew exactly what happened last night, yet neither mentioned it. Lu Juanrong uncorked the wine and poured a glass for each of us. He brushed his finger along the bridge of my nose. Now our Z's got suitors lining up around the block. Raising my glass with a smirk, I countered. Still can't compete with our renowned director Lu. We drank in silence, avoiding each other's gaze. Lu Juanrong finally broke the silence. Z, I have feelings for you, but I was born in Britain, raised in America, and only returned to Hong Kong as an adult. My values are quite Western. I practice open relationships. What do you mean? My heart sank as I asked. Lu took a sip of his drink. It means we can be together while still seeing other people, no strings attached. Could you live with that? 36. I told Sister Feng about this. Sister Feng immediately flew into a rage. I knew he was a player, but I never thought he'd take it to this level. What a load of crap about open relationships. I couldn't stop crying. That's exactly what he deserves. Keep going, say more. Sister Feng pulled out a tissue, wiping my tears while scolding. I warned you, dating's fine, but don't give your heart away. Now you're hurt, aren't you? I craned my neck to cry. Terrified of staining my gown with tears, Sister Feng chuckled at my ridiculousness. So what's your plan? Taking his offer, I grimaced. What choice do I have? Sister Feng planted her hands on her hips. Then get yourself a man too. You're the Golden Deer Award's best supporting actress, for heaven's sake, hotter than ever with tons of handsome guys chasing you. Give that bastard Ron a taste of his own medicine. No, I shook my head. Sister Feng glared at me with exasperation. You handled your ex-husband with such ruthless efficiency back then. Why the hesitation now? Wiping away tears, I smiled bitterly. Ron can have new girlfriends, but I can't. I need things from him. My career and future matter more to me than romance or lust. To gain something, I must pay the price willingly. I have to wait for him to break up with me. I can't afford to betray him recklessly. I dare not gamble on Lu Juanrong being forgiving, nor trust that his so-called open relationship is genuine. This isn't a bet I can afford to lose. Sister Feng let out a long sigh. So what do you call this? Conscious self-destruction. I wrapped my arm around her. Come drink with your girl, Sister Feng declared with reckless abandon. Drink till we drop. 37, maybe out of compensation, or perhaps a tinge of guilt. Soon after, Lu Juanrong gifted me a designer bag and secured numerous opportunities for me. My schedule became packed again. I focused mainly on films, occasionally taking on a TV series or two. Progress was steady though gradual. I made a fortune, bought a spacious home in Harbor City, and brought my parents to live with me. Besides acting, I also tried releasing an album, but the response was just so-so. After finishing each project, I always take some time off for myself, taking courses at school, traveling abroad. Chowie has always been by my side. This was our unspoken agreement, a subconscious contract between Lu Juanrong and me that required no signatures. During Chowie's childhood, I essentially became her mother figure, watching her grow up. Ironically enough, Chowie rarely visited her father at work but clung to me constantly. Chowie once told me, "Z, my dad's such a jerk, why don't you just leave him?" The thought has crossed my mind, but I know all too well how cutthroat the entertainment industry can be. And how tough it is for a woman with no power, influence, or connections to make her way. That's why I'm willing to remain Lu Juanrong's fiancé. We actually get along quite well, maintaining the open relationship he originally proposed. His so-called openness only goes one way. Whenever he grew tired of a girlfriend, I'd step in as his fiancé to clean up the mess. After the initial 5-year contract ended, Lu Juanrong and I renewed for another 5 years, 38. My pace and objectives remained unchanged during the second term. As Cherry grew up, I increased my workload accordingly. Beyond producing films and TV series myself, I've also started investing. I knew mainland film and television would flourish tremendously after the millennium. That's why I planned to shift my career focus to mainland China. I was swamped with work while Lu Juanrong slowed his pace. The most noticeable change was his dwindling dating life. He went a full 2 years without a new girlfriend. His reputation remained stellar, though whispers of past his prime occasionally surfaced. He crafted a screenplay tailored for me, clearly aiming for awards season. I played the female lead opposite award-winning actor Lin Yanqi as the male lead. When the Golden Deer Awards came around, both Lin and I missed out. But Lu Juanrong took home Best Director, even better. The film won several international awards, which really boosted my profile. During the post-show interviews, reporters asked what Lin and I wanted to say to the director. We both joked, "Director Lu, you owe each of us a movie now." Later, the reporter teased Lu Juanrong, Ms. Suzy, and Mr. Lin Yanqi are hinting that their future Best Actor and Best Actress awards depend entirely on you, Director Lu, so, can they really count on you? Lu Juanrong replied confidently, "Absolutely, they can." The reporter asked with a smile, "Words are cheap, how will you prove you're reliable?" Lu Juanrong turned to me with a grin, "Marrying Suzy and becoming sworn brothers with Lin Yanqi. We're all family now, of course you can count on me." He burst into laughter. "Just kidding." 39. In the blink of an eye, our second 5-year contract was nearing its expiration. He personally cooked an elaborate feast at home, with red roses gracing the center of the dining table. It's my favorite flower. Lu Juanrong was cooking in the kitchen. I leaned on the table, watching him bustle about. 12 years my senior, time had quietly etched itself around his eyes, yet I must admit, the older this guy gets, the more handsome he becomes. "What are you looking at?" Lu Juanrong served the baked lobster with a smile. "At you," I said, resting my chin on my fingers as I studied him. "White shirt and jeans today, just like when we first met." Lu Juanrong shook his head, chuckling, "Right. I was about to leave Xicheng that day when this girl came running, yelling, 'Director Lu, wait.' Next thing I knew, she'd knocked over a garbage cart, got herself covered in filth, and still clung to my arm like a limpet. I was mortified back then, but her eyes, dark and sparkling, made me look twice, and before I knew it, I've been looking ever since, never able to forget." I picked the lemon slice from my glass and nibbled it. "Wow, that's sour." Lu Juanrong shot me an amused glance. Pouring himself red wine while filling my glass with juice. "Joey called me the other day saying he saw you vomiting and had your assistant by pregnancy tests." Gazing at me tenderly, he asked, "Are we giving Joey a little brother or sister?" 40. I took his wine and gulped a mouthful. "Cherry's such a gossip. I'm not pregnant." The wine burned my throat with a bitter aftertaste. "Actually, I was, but I took care of it quietly." A flash of anguish crossed Lu Juanrong's eyes. Glistening with unshed tears, he rested his hand on my shoulder with a gentle smile. "Funny how things change. I never used to like kids, but now I find myself wanting a livelier home. Let's take that Iceland trip you've been dreaming about. Weren't you always saying you wanted to see the northern lights?" I agreed readily. "Sounds perfect. I'll have Sister Fong look into the itinerary." Lu Juanrong froze momentarily before forcing a chuckle. Fong's quite the talent. Went independent these past 2 years and built that entertainment company from scratch. Heard she signed some promising young talents. I nodded in acknowledgement while helping myself to another bite. Deep down I knew Lu Juanrong had another agenda for this dinner, to renew my contract. My current reputation and market value are at their peak. Since he wouldn't say it outright, I played dumb. About that, Lu Juanrong sat across from me and said bluntly, "Let me get straight to the point. Our contract is about to expire. What are your plans?" I put down my chopsticks. "I've been so busy lately I forgot to mention it. I won't be renewing the contract. I'm planning to sign with Sister Fong's agency." Lu Juanrong lowered his gaze, a shadow crossing his face as he asked with a strained smile, "At your level now, you could easily go independent. Why sign with another agency?" I chuckled. Well, it's more of a symbolic signing with Sister Fong. Mostly to lend her some clout and support her business. After all she's done for me over the years, this is my way of returning the favor. Not bad at all. Lu Juanrong took a large swig of liquor, his gaze steady on me. I mean it when I say I want to marry you, and it's true. I've loved you all these years. A long silence hung between us, gently stroking the fiery red rose. I murmured, remember when I won Best Supporting Actress? The starry sky that night was breathtaking. I watched it till dawn. Ron lowered his head. I couldn't see his face clearly. Was it sorrow, regret, or reluctance? Who could tell? None of it mattered anymore. Ron, I'm leaving. I got up and left. Just as I reached the door, Lu Juanrong suddenly called out to me, Ziyi, you've always been such a clear-headed woman who knows exactly what you want. After all these years by my side, did you ever truly love me? Without turning back, I replied. Of course I did. 41. 2 months later, I'll be staying in West City for half a month due to my new film project. Xiaoyi insisted on coming along, saying she'd never been to West City and wanted to see where I grew up while sampling all the local delicacies. After 11 years away, West City has changed dramatically. The moment I stepped off the plane, swarms of fans came rushing toward me, smiling. I took photos with them and signed autographs. When suddenly I thought I spotted a familiar face in the crowd, it was just a fleeting glimpse, gone when I turned back to look. After finally breaking through the throng, we made it back to the hotel by car. Cherry flopped onto the bed the moment she entered the room, pouting, never traveling with a celebrity again. My feet got trampled to bits. 11 years flew by, and now Cherry's already 15, taller than me, fair-skinned and beautiful, the spitting image of her father. A cold male voice cut through from the doorway, told you not to third-wheel us, yet here you are, tagging along like a damn limpet. The speaker was a stunning British guy, tall, built, with abs you'd want to run your hands over. Don't ask how I know, he happens to be my new boyfriend. His name is Dylan. By family hierarchy, he's technically Cherry's uncle, younger in age but higher in seniority. 2 months ago, I accompanied Cherry to visit her mother in England where we met Dylan. Uncle Dylan fell for me at first sight, asked for my number that very evening and took me out to dinner. We got together quickly and everything just clicked, absolutely wonderful in every way, but Cherry harbors intense hostility toward Dylan, convinced that this handsome young uncle is the biggest obstacle preventing her father from winning me back. Dylan wheeled in the luggage and nudged Cherry's foot lightly. I'll book your flight back to Hong Kong. Your old man's gone off the deep end after his breakup, now he's rushing into marriage with some model he's known for less than a week. What a farce, shouldn't you stop this? Wait till your stepmom pops out a kid to compete for your inheritance. No one thinks you're mute when you shut up. Xiaoyi got up from the bed and snapped at Dylan defiantly. If it weren't for you, Ziyi would have been my mom ages ago. Dylan deliberately pulled me close and planted a loud kiss on my cheek. She's barely over 30, you should be ashamed calling her mom. She'd be mortified to answer. Remember, Ziyi isn't your mother, she's your aunt. I shook my head with a chuckle. Let them bicker. Can't control them, honestly can't. Just then, the assistant knocked and entered. Sis, a man named Shen Jincheng showed up at the hotel with his daughter, claims to be your relative and wants to see you. My heart skipped a beat. Shen Jincheng. It's been so many years, have him come up. And bring the bodyguards too. 42. Before Shen Jincheng and his daughter entered, the bodyguards had thoroughly frisked them from head to toe for concealed weapons, poison, or any surveillance devices. After years apart, I laid eyes on the father-daughter pair once again, though only in his 30s. Shen Jincheng looked prematurely aged, sporting a crew-cut, thick Coke bottle glasses, and a noticeably pudgier frame. The once refined, handsome scholar now moved with timid, cowering gestures that bore no resemblance to his former elegance. He was holding hands with a slender, dark-skinned girl around 10 years old with delicate features. Shen Yuqing. The sight of Shen Yuqing's face stunned me. 2 ugly burn scars marred the left side of her face. Perhaps because of those scars, Shen Yuqing kept her head bowed. When she saw the tall, beautiful Lu Qiaoyi, her shoulders slumped even further in self-consciousness. Mommy Ziyi Qiaoyi had always been sensible. Knowing my past and recognizing the father-daughter pair before us, she asked me with a smile, do you need to talk with this uncle? I'll take the little one out to play then. Suddenly, memories from my past life came flooding back. Shen Yuqing and her biological mother ganged up against me. On my deathbed, she even asked Shen Jincheng when I'd finally die, just so her father could marry her real mother sooner. I don't trust that Shen Yuqing one bit. I'll never let Xiaoyi come to any harm. No need, I turned to Dylan and said, just you and Xiaoyi go take a walk, no third wheels. Despite his playboy looks, Dylan was actually a devoted sweetheart who always listened to me. He nodded immediately, got it, you two talk. With that, Dylan took Xiaoyi's arm and headed out. Passing the doorway, he politely smiled at Shin Jincheng. Excuse me, uncle, I face-bombed. He's barely older than you, call him bro. Oh, sorry. Dylan shrugged sheepishly with an apologetic smile. Excuse me. Man, Shin Jincheng flushed with embarrassment, quickly pressing himself against the wall to clear the way. After Dylan and his nephew left, I gestured to Shin Jincheng. Have a seat. 43. Shin Jincheng walked over holding Shin Yuqing's hand and took a seat on the sofa across from me. I signaled my 2 bodyguards to serve tea and fruits, shooting them a meaningful glance to keep an eye on Shin Jincheng in case he tried anything. What brings you here today? I asked with a guarded smile, remaining vigilant. Shin Jincheng gazed at me, lowered his eyes, and hugged his daughter. Yuqing is your fan and would love your autograph. With that, Shin Jincheng nudged Shin Yuqing. You were so excited at home, why are you suddenly speechless in front of Auntie Sue? Shin Yuqing looked at me timidly, her overly bright eyes darting around. Hello Auntie, I'm Yuqing. I've watched so many of your TV shows and movies. I absolutely adore you. I often wish you could be my mom. Thank you for your kindness. I handed an orange to Shin Yuqing. Don't bother asking. These words clearly came from an adult's coaching. I smiled faintly. Professor Shin, you came looking for me. Is there something you need? Shin Jincheng wore a complicated expression. Miss Sue, might I speak with you privately? No, I flat out refused. Shin Jincheng stared straight at me. Chen Yin, I've been reborn too. 44. Hearing this, I had bodyguard Xiao Wu escort Shin Yuqing out. Just to be safe, I kept bodyguard Xiao Zhao with me. He'd been with me for years and was completely trustworthy. I picked up the teacup and took a sip. When did you get reborn? Last month. Shin Jincheng looked at me with tearful eyes. I remember everything now. Chen Yin, my past life, this life. It all came back to me. He suddenly dropped to his knees. Back then, I didn't know the truth. When you brought Director Liu to catch me with Bai Heji, I hated you to death. But now that I remember everything, I deserved it. Goddamn right I did. Even if I died 10 times over, it wouldn't be enough to make up for what I did to you. I turned my head to gaze out the window. Why dredge up the past? Since we divorced years ago, it's best we each live our own lives. I had no desire to waste another breath on this man. Glancing at my watch, I said, I have another appointment to keep. We'll have to cut this short. Chen Yin. Shin Jincheng shuffled forward on his knees to block me. Hate me all you want, but Yuqing was raised by you. How can you be so heartless toward her? I scoffed, finally getting to the real issue. Before returning to West City, I'd already sent people to dig up dirt on Shin Jincheng and Bai Heji. That shameless pair married in haste, and while they started off lovey-dovey, reality soon ground them down. Bai Heji was stuck caring for Shin's bedridden mother while raising their child, all while his career hit rock bottom. Their income plummeted, with so many mouths to feed and bills piling up. Bai Heji worked herself ragged for 2 years before the idea of retaking the college entrance exams resurfaced, but the exams changed every year, and having been away from books for so long, she simply lacked the energy and time to prepare. The once devoted couple who couldn't be together due to obstacles ended up quarreling daily. Whenever Bai Heji was in a foul mood, she'd escape to play cards, leaving young Shin Yuqing in the care of elderly relatives. That winter was bitterly cold, so many rural households secretly used electric heaters. In a moment of inattention from her grandparents, Shin Yuqing fell and got her face burned by the glowing hot heating coil. After this incident, Shin Jincheng and Bai Heji fought and quarreled almost daily. The wife resented her husband's incompetence, blaming him for ruining her prospects. The man accused the woman of seducing him, causing him to lose the woman who truly loved him and costing him his job. Over the past 2 years, Bai Heji reconnected with her high school deskmate. Like rain after a long drought, they hit it off and blatantly cuckolded Shin Jincheng. Shin Jincheng reached his breaking point and is now filing for divorce. Coming to me now, either begging for reconciliation or asking for money. Yawning from exhaustion, I asked Shin Jincheng across from me, alright, what do you want? Shin Jincheng steadied himself on the coffee table as he sat up. Chen Yin, look at you, so radiant and successful now. Since you're making big money, for old time's sake as husband and wife, could you spare me $1 million? 45. I couldn't help but laugh at his words. How much? You've got some nerve asking. What makes you think you deserve it? Shin Jincheng glanced at the bodyguard beside him and straightened his back. Just because you brought Lu Juanrong to our home that year and burned by Heji's college admission letter, aren't you afraid your fans will find out you once destroyed someone's future? I shook my head with a smile. Frankly, no. Infuriated by my nonchalance, Shin Jincheng slammed his fist on the coffee table. When I got anonymously reported years ago, I first suspected jealous colleagues. Later I pulled strings to get the original letter, then checked repeatedly at the post office. It was mailed from S-City. Anyone heading to Hong Kong must pass through S-City first. So you sent that letter, first ruining careers, now persecuting your ex-husband. Karma will get you. I glanced down at myself, but I'm perfectly fine right now. Shin Jincheng narrowed his eyes. Aren't you afraid I'll leak this to the media? Be my guest. I lounged on the sofa. After all the mudslinging I've endured over the years, this is nothing. Let's leak everything together. Who knows, my fans might actually respect me more for ruthlessly taking down a cheating scumbag and his mistress. Shin Jincheng choked on his anger, gasping for breath. Finally, he collapsed to his knees with a pleading look. You may hate me, but Yuqing is the child you raised. With that scar on her face, how do you expect her to live the rest of her life? I'm past caring about shame. Might as well lay all my cards on the table. After you left in my past life, I married by Heji. That wretched woman was used to splurging, called me poor, and took up with another man. She even stole Yuqing's dowry money. The groom's family called off the wedding on the spot, wanted nothing to do with her. I nodded and smiled. So, Shin Jincheng pleaded desperately, please lend me some money so I can get Yuqing plastic surgery. She still needs to get married and have children someday. My life is ruined, but she's still so young. I refused without hesitation. Not my problem. Have you no humanity? Shin Jincheng pointed at my face and cursed. Suddenly, he sprang up and lunged toward the window. If you don't give it to me, I'll jump. He sneered viciously. With a dead body in your house, let's see how you'll keep your movie star career. 46. Bodyguard Xiao Zhao quickly intervened. Sir, please calm down. Let's sit and talk this through properly. Shin Jincheng threw caution to the wind. There's nothing left to discuss with this cold-hearted, selfish woman. Su Chenyan, just answer me, are you giving me the money or not? No. I rose slowly. Shin Jincheng, you've truly sunk beneath contempt. Gnashing his teeth, Shin Jincheng flung open the window and swung one leg out. For my daughter's sake, I can't afford to care about dignity anymore. I let out a cold laugh. Are you absolutely certain Shin Yuqing is your daughter? Shin Jincheng stiffened. What are you implying? I pulled a videotape from my suitcase and tossed it on the floor. I was bringing this back to West City for you anyway. It means nothing to me now, I said flatly. Do you know why I treated Shin Yuqing as my own in our past life? After multiple miscarriages left me childless, did you really think I never questioned why you doted on her so much? The color drained from Shin Jincheng's face. What exactly are you implying? That's right. I let out a long sigh. Years ago, when I saw how excessively you doted on Yuqing, I suspected she might actually be your illegitimate child, deliberately left at our doorstep for me to find and raise. So I secretly took hair samples from both of you for DNA testing. Unfortunately, the results confirmed you're not biologically related. Shin Jincheng screamed at me like a madman. That's absolute nonsense. I looked at him with pity. Your mother's definitely your real mother, but your father, that's another story. If you don't believe me, go get a DNA test yourself. Shin Jincheng looked like he was about to faint, leaning against the wall for support. He gave me one long, hard look before storming off without a word. I walked over and shut the window. Spring had arrived. Yet an unexpected gust of wind cut straight to the bone. 47. 2 weeks later, this time, all mistakes returned to square one. Recent headlines have been dominated by a rural teacher's murder case. Reports say the teacher came home to find his wife cheating with an old flame. The mild-mannered man snapped, stabbing them both, leaving only their little daughter kneeling in pools of blood, crying for her daddy and mommy. How pitiful. Wonder who they're calling for. I stared blankly at the newspaper and sighed. Just then, Dylan leaned in and wrapped his arm around me. What's on your mind? Nestling against him, I smiled faintly, thinking how we shouldn't waste such springtime beauty. After we land, let's feast, drink, and make merry. Alright, I'll go with you. The end. Story 2. After giving birth, my body shape changed drastically. My husband claimed he didn't mind, yet kept comparing me to my best friend Su Xiang. We're both women. How come you got fat, ugly, and saggy after having a baby? damn, if I'd married Soo-seong instead, life would have been so much better. Even when I had a heart attack and begged for his help, he pretended to be asleep and ignored me. After death, I was reborn back to the day Shin-mo confessed his feelings to me. I pushed Soo-seong forward. Stay away from me, you two are perfect for each other. 1. On the day Shin-mo's company went public, he invited many classmates to celebrate. She even invited Soo-seong, the best friend who cut ties with me, over him. What a coincidence. Soo-seong and I showed up at the same time. I was wearing a simple, loose-fitting t-shirt. Meanwhile, Soo-seong had flawless makeup and a fitted off-shoulder dress. The black dress clung to her curvaceous figure. She looked even more alluring than before. All eyes turned to Soo-seong, Shin-mo being no exception. After a long pause, Shin-mo strode over and snapped at me with a stern face. About time you showed up. Keeping everyone waiting. How shameless can you be? Then he turned with a smirk toward Soo-seong, gesturing like a perfect gentleman. You're late, princess. We've all been waiting. Your seat's ready. The classmates erupted in teasing, nobody sparing a glance at me behind Shin-mo. No one remembers the version of me that once outshone everyone here. Had I not married Shin-mo and been coaxed into being a housewife, I could have been just as poised and eloquent today. The stark contrast made me feel utterly wronged. Shin-mo suddenly turned and snapped at me. Stop gawking. I told you not to come, now you're making a spectacle of us. That roar finally made people notice me. Well, if it isn't our class's top student and beauty. Goodness, Sushi, how did having a baby turn you into this? I barely recognized you with all that weight and, well, let's just say motherhood hasn't been kind. Soo-seong's mockery was merciless. The way he groveled after Shin-mo back then is exactly how sarcastic he's being now. Our class beauty is so confident, never worrying about her figure at all. Not like me. I've been a complete mess since giving birth. She gave me a once-over with disdainful sidelong glances. I stood frozen in place, utterly mortified. I looked helplessly at Shin-mo, praying he'd speak up for me. His expression shifted several times before he came over and shoved me out. He looked at me with disgust and snapped. We're both women. How come you turned ugly, fat, and saggy after having a baby? Why do other women smell so nice while you reek of sour milk? You knew today was my company's IPO. I told you not to come, but you had to show up. Are you deliberately trying to humiliate me? Besides, could you even keep up with their conversations? Do you understand what they're talking about? Not a single mention of Soo-seong. Yet every word was about her. My heart clenched with a dull ache. Seeing me clutching my chest, he snapped impatiently. Enough with the act. Hurry home. Mom just said Lele has a stomachache. The moment I heard my son had a stomachache, I dropped everything and rushed home without another word. 2. When I got back, I realized Shin-mo had lied to me yet again. I let out a bitter laugh. After all these years, he still knew exactly how to manipulate me. A lump of frustration tightened in my chest, sharpening the pain, thinking about all these years of devotion. I felt so wronged I couldn't sleep, determined to have it out with Shin-mo when he got back. He stumbled home drunk past midnight, pressing me down with liquor-fueled passion as his lips found mine. This was his first initiative since I'd given birth. I figured he realized he'd crossed the line tonight, and this was his way of making amends. Just thinking about it made most of my anger fade away. But his hand froze when he felt the flab on my belly. Sushi. We're both women. How come Soo-seong still has a flat stomach after giving birth? She smells so nice. Why do you have this disgusting fishy stench? Look at yourself. You're no better than a pig. We're both women. Why do you have to be so repulsive? He suddenly stiffened with resistance, pushing me away and shifting to the very edge of the bed. My whole body burned with frustrated desire, leaving me utterly miserable. Shin-mo muttered resentfully under his breath. If only I'd married Seong-soo back then, life would be so much better now. In that instant, it felt like a knife had pierced my heart, sending waves of excruciating pain through me. Shin-mo, it hurts. He clicked his tongue in annoyance, not moving an inch. Help me. My voice trailed off weakly. He snapped impatiently. Aren't you too old for these childish games? You're disgusting. Look at yourself in the mirror. You think you're some 20-year-old girl. Stop making me sick. I slowly suffocated to death beside the person I believed loved me most, even as my soul detached and hovered midair. He never once turned to look at me. Perhaps my death was too pathetic. Even heaven took pity and granted me a second chance at life. When I opened my eyes again, Shin-mo stood before me with flowers, confessing his love. 3. Sushi, give me one chance. I'll treat you right forever. No matter what happens, I'll never leave you. You'll always be my little princess." The sunlight stung my eyes. After just a dazed moment, I realized I'd been reborn. Hearing Shinmo's words again, I was suddenly overcome with nausea. Lost in thought, I suddenly heard Su-seong gasp behind me. Did I just come back? One look into her eyes told me she'd been reborn too. No surprise, in her past life, Su-seong had married some rich old man out of vanity. Little did she know, that old bastard turned out to be a violent abuser. That night, Seong-su went out dressed like that and came back reeking of alcohol. I wasn't the least bit surprised when she got beaten to death. What? Shinmo froze for a second, asking blankly while giving me a complicated look. Snapping back to reality, I took a step back and pushed Seong-su forward. She's had feelings for you forever. We're best friends. I can't steal what belongs to her. Stay away from me from now on. Didn't you want to marry her? In this lifetime, I'll grant your wish. As Seong-su's longtime best friend, I know all too well about her lazy, gluttonous, and overly ambitious nature, but she's genuinely had feelings for Shinmo for years. In my past life, just because I agreed to be with Shinmo, she completely cut ties with me. She even spread vicious rumors that I'd been someone's kept woman. The gossip spiraled out of control. Over this mess, my family disowned me completely. We never spoke again. Shinmo, who kept swearing his trust in me before marriage, started nitpicking about my lack of family support countless times after we wed. If I get another life, I'll make sure you taste this bitterness too. Why yes, Shinmo, I've liked you for so long. Su-seong suddenly grabbed the flowers and blurted out with flushed courage. Then she whispered in my ear, "This time, I won't hold back. If it weren't for you in my past life, I wouldn't have been beaten to death." I caught Shinmo in my peripheral vision, looking utterly bewildered. Well, we'd been dancing around each other for ages before he confessed, just never put it into words. Everyone already treated us like an established couple. No wonder he assumed I'd jump at the chance to say yes. I suddenly called out to Qinglin, who happened to be passing by. "Hey Qinglin, let's take graduation photos together tomorrow." Everyone froze in surprise. No one expected the class belle like me would actually ask plain-looking Qinglin for a photo. Qinglin stood there dumbfounded, his face turning crimson before he finally stammered out a "sure" and bolted away. At this time, Qinglin was just an average-looking student with mediocre grades, practically invisible in class, but the future Qinglin would become someone far beyond everyone's reach. Clearly, Su-seong didn't recognize him. Or perhaps she never knew this Qinglin would become the titan dominating the business world. Shinmo, how can someone who flirts around like that be worth your affection? She's only good enough for that socially awkward bookworm who can't even string a sentence together. Hearing this, Shinmo's pride took a direct hit in that moment. He gritted his teeth. "Sushi, what exactly are you implying?" I bolted out of there in a flash. "How boring. I wish you a lifetime of happiness and many children." Back in the dorm, I threw away everything related to Shinmo. None of the gifts he gave me were particularly valuable, just some postcards and little trinkets like mugs, but in my past life, I guarded them like treasures. Even Shu-seong got upset with me over it. Now, the mere sight of them turns my stomach. Staring at that pile of junk, I stomped on it with vicious satisfaction. Su-seong happened to witness this scene upon her return. She cut straight to the chase. "Sushi, I know you've been reborn too. This time, I won't go easy on you. Have some self-awareness and stay away from Shinmo." Clutching that bouquet, she looked like a rabid dog guarding its meal. I laughed. "Don't worry, I'd be thrilled if he disappeared to the ends of the earth. May you two be stuck together forever, never separate." She chuckled. "Relax, Shinmo and I will be perfectly happy after we're married." Did you know Shinmo publicly mocked you that night, calling you a fat, ugly pig? Sushi, let's be honest, it's downright disgusting how much you've let yourself go after having a child. Forget about someone as accomplished as Shinmo. I bet even someone like Qinglin would look down on you. Last time around, you completely humiliated Shinmo. Don't worry, this time I'll make sure everyone envies him. Her eyes sparkled as she spoke, brimming with confidence about the future. She seemed to have forgotten that at this point, Shinmo was still that penniless nobody. Little did she know, Shinmo's success in our past life was built on my silent support, countless sleepless nights, endless social drinking, and humiliating favors. I bore them all alone. When the company finally stabilized, I gave birth to our child. Shinmo then claimed he didn't want me overworked, insisting I should just stay home to care for our child. I did hesitate. Knowing how vicious and difficult my mother-in-law could be, but Shinemo insisted, children raised by others won't bond with their parents. Having been raised by my grandmother myself, I truly never developed much affection for my parents. With that single remark, Shinemo played me perfectly. I willingly became a housewife. Snapping back to reality, Suseong added, I'd never be as stupid as you. Perfect. In that case, I'll give you a helping hand. I picked up Shinmo's gift and shoved it at her. Go tell Shinemo he's just a charity case student who scavenges for meals. He's not good enough for me. Tell him to stay away. I knew Shinemo had immense pride. These were precisely the things that cut him deepest. With Suseong exaggerating the story and sweet-talking him a bit, he'd definitely try to prove himself by staying with her. That night, after Suseong left, I hesitantly said to my roommate with feigned hesitation, well, since we've graduated, there's something I should tell you, but you've got to promise to keep it quiet. 5. This semester, I've seen Suseong getting out of that old man's car multiple times. She asked me to go with her to the gynecologist just the other day. Shoo, you mustn't breathe a word of this to anyone. In my past life, Suseong spread rumors in the dorm the very night Shinemo confessed to me. The difference is, hers were lies, but everything I'm saying is true. Since college, Suseong had been kept by several sugar daddies. It's also true that she sneaked off to a gynecologist recently. If she can fabricate stories, I certainly can tell the truth. The next day during graduation photos, Shinemo showed up holding Suseong's hand. My classmates all cast pitying glances my way, yet I kept chasing Qinglin around, snapping photos from different angles. Shinemo shot me a look and said petulantly, Suseong and I are getting married right after graduation. We'll treat you all to the wedding banquet. Ah, Suseong gasped, then bashfully lowered her head and gave Shinemo a playful tap. You rascal, you caught me completely off guard. The onlookers forced awkward yet polite smiles. Congratulations. I couldn't help but scoff inwardly. What a truly momentous occasion this was. After taking photos, I dashed back to my dorm to pack my bags. Every second I had to look at that despicable pair made me sick. I wished I'd never lay eyes on them again, but Shinemo slipped in right after I entered the dorm room. Sushi, have you lost your mind? Why aren't following last lifetime script? Me, // could it be, one damn drink and I drop dead, only to wake up in this godforsaken era. I've had enough of this, / and now you're giving me the silent treatment. What's your problem, / did he get reborn too? 6. Don't you want to get back to those good old days sooner? The knot in my chest suddenly came undone in that instant. Since you're reborn too, this just got more interesting. Shinemo, you're the one who said marrying Suseong would have been better. Now I'm making your dream come true this lifetime. What more could you possibly want? You actually believe all that drunken nonsense I said. Come on, guys say stupid shit when they're drunk. Why are you making such a big deal out of it? Are you dense? We made it big together in our past life. If we team up again for this bigger opportunity, we'll be unstoppable. Turns out he's only ever cared about himself, too scared to take risks. He just wants me to suffer through it all over again with him. He knows success is guaranteed with me by his side, but with Suseong, that's a gamble. Given a second chance, if I fall for his tricks again, I'd lose all self-respect. I've endured this far, there's no turning back now. Shinemo, not only will I never be with you in this lifetime, but I'll make sure you realize that without me, you're still that pathetic stray scavenging for scraps. No output as the provided text is empty or contains only a non-printing character. He froze momentarily before snapping. What a joke. Who the hell do you think you are? The only reason I sought you out is because we worked together in our past life. Consider this a favor. You actually think I can't make it without you? Mark my words, I'll be even more successful without you. Just wait and see. Watching Shinemo kick over the chair and storm out in fury. What future would you have without me? Shinemo, in our past life I never wronged you. I even lowered my standards for you multiple times, yet you made me feel like some cheap, foolish doormat. I smiled. Do you really think I'd let you mock me with that polished smile in this lifetime? The irony was, Shinemo had barely stepped out when Suseong barged in. She confronted me. What lies have you been feeding Shinemo about me? 7. Me, you had your turn last lifetime, now it's mine. Don't you dare ruin this for me. I laugh, enjoying this. In my past life, I joined Shinmo's startup right after graduation. To save money, we lived in a basement surviving on nothing but stale instant noodles. I was so worn out during that period I turned sallow and even my period became irregular, even after we became well off. I remained the one handling all household chores, because Shin Mo said he wouldn't trust anyone else with our home. On top of dealing with that difficult mother-in-law, I was constantly on the go. After all that backbreaking work, all I get is "you've got it easy at home, this lifetime's blessings, they're all yours now." I chuckled. "Soo-seong, you're right, it's your turn to live the good life this time around. Let's see how you handle those tough times yourself." I grabbed my luggage and left without hesitation, but there stood Qinglin at the foot of the stairs, rubbing his hands nervously as if mustering all his courage. He stammered, "Sushi, I've started a studio, would you? I'll help you," I said. In his past life, Qinglin started a studio before even graduating. It became a running joke among his classmates for a while. Nobody took the ordinary Qinglin seriously. They all mocked him for being delusional. This time around, even if he doesn't come looking for me, I'll go find him myself. I want to work alongside like-minded people. This time, I'm going to be the queen of my own destiny. Though Qinglin speaks little, he handles every task with meticulous care and near-perfect execution. On the day I officially joined Qinglin's studio, Shin Mo and Soo-seong got married. The two even made a special trip to my studio just to deliver their wedding invitation. Shin Mo wrapped an arm around Soo-seong, scanned my shabby workspace, and mocked, "Such short-sightedness." Then turning to Soo-seong, he declared, "Darling, I'll give you the good life, 100 times better than hers." Soo-seong smugly agreed. I smiled faintly. "You don't know yet, do you? The treasure you're talking about is actually just as poor as you are." Another village pauper. Shin Mo froze momentarily upon hearing this, clearly still under the illusion that Soo-seong was some rich heiress. Soo-seong immediately started screaming at me, "Sushi, you bastard, can't stand seeing me live well, can you? You're just jealous." I shook my head. What exactly is there to be jealous of? That you picked up some trashy man, or that you're dirt poor? I'm just stating facts. Soo-seong was born into a poor rural family, with her college tuition painstakingly collected house by house from fellow villagers, yet at school she carried herself like an heiress, decked in designer labels and chauffeured in luxury cars. Over time, classmates assumed she came from old money. Only I knew the sordid deals behind her polished facade. That's why Shin Mo rushed into marriage with her. I guess he thought Soo-seong came from a wealthy family and could help him fast-track back to his previous life's trajectory. After all, in his past life, it was my parents' dowry that bankrolled his later success. Now that he's heard Soo-seong is just a poor girl, he's completely dumbfounded. After a long pause, he asked hoarsely, "Is what she said true?" Soo-seong hung her head guiltily, remaining silent. Seeing Soo-seong didn't deny it, Shin Mo flew into a rage and stormed off without looking back. I poured fuel on the fire from behind. "If you're short on cash, why not have her hit up those old geezers for donations?" After this incident, Soo-seong's dirty laundry got aired, and her wealthy heiress persona completely collapsed. From then on, everyone mocked Shin Mo as the gullible nice guy who got played. 8. Shin Mo's very public divorce proceedings with Soo-seong over these scandals became the talk of the town. With her secrets exposed, Soo-seong simply dropped the act altogether. Every day she'd stir up trouble at home, verbally abusing Shin Mo at best and physically beating him at worst. Even Shin Mo's vicious mother, who'd been utterly cruel to me, was completely subdued in the process. Hearing about these wretched affairs left me utterly unfazed. Countless times I've thanked my lucky stars for this second chance to escape that wretched man. I thought Shin Mo and I would never cross paths again in this lifetime. Then my mother called, demanding I come home immediately. When I got back, I found Shin Mo kneeling before my parents in tears. I almost forgot, in my past life, Shin Mo knelt before my parents just like this, professing his love, promising to cherish me forever, and begging for their blessing on our marriage. Seeing his impoverished background yet his refusal to demand a dowry, my parents instead gifted me a substantial bridal endowment. It was precisely this dowry that became Shin Mo's turning point, transforming him into the envy of all as a wealthy man. But this time, he's already legally married to Soo-seong. How dare he show his face here? God knows what sweet talk he fed my dad. Dad glared at me and snapped, "What on earth did you do to that poor boy? Look how you've tortured him." "Exactly, things were going fine, why stir up trouble?" Mom chimed in, "Shin Mo already apologized to us, what more do you want?" Shin Mo kept his head down, but the smug glint in his eyes gave him away. My parents helped him up and shot me a disapproving look. "Don't worry," they said, "we'll make sure justice is served." In my past life, A few malicious rumors from others drove my parents and me apart completely, so hearing them say such things now doesn't surprise me in the slightest, but Shinmo, now that's some next level audacity. I smirked coldly. Mom, Dad, did you know he's already married? I wish my parents would stop pestering me even after learning he's married, but my father blurted out, just get divorced, what's the big deal? You were born from my second marriage with your mom anyway, men make mistakes sometimes. That's perfectly normal, why make such a fuss? My dad said it so casually, while my mom kept nodding in agreement. Nobody cares whether my marriage is happy or not. I ended up secretly messaging Su Xiang, let the villains deal with each other. I turned to leave, but Shinmo stopped me. If Su Xiang weren't a fraud, I wouldn't be begging you like this. Have you forgotten? We need that money from your parents to get started. You've had your tantrum, could you at least consider my feelings? Don't you miss living that comfortable, carefree life of luxury like in your past life? I listened quietly. The more he spoke, the more absurd it became. Comfortable, carefree, luxury, the audacity of this man. Shinmo, you're the one who's always comfortable and carefree, the one who gets to shine. Look me in the eye and tell me, have I ever had a single moment of peace with you? I spoke with deliberate pauses. Don't forget how you used to call me an embarrassment. Did you really think I'd still chase after you? He froze, momentarily speechless. My parents exchanged confused glances. What are you two talking about? The moment the words were spoken, Su Xiang stormed in furiously. Shinmo, what the hell do you mean? Think you can just dump me because I'm broke? Dream on. She lunged forward, grabbing Shinmo by the collar and slapping him twice. We're married, what's your game coming to see this bitch? 9. Hearing this, I slapped her back. Keep your damn fight to yourselves, mention me again and I'll rip your mouth open. Enraged by the beating, Xiang Su vented her fury on Shinmo, slapping him repeatedly across the face, provoked beyond endurance. Shinmo shoved Xiang Su to the ground and hurled a rock at her. Chaos erupted instantly, feathers flew, howls pierced the air. My parents recoiled in horror at the unfolding spectacle. I blurted out, how could you people even consider throwing your daughter into this living hell? They fell silent, hanging their heads in shame. After that scene, my parents never contacted me again. I threw myself wholeheartedly into the studio work. Jinlin handled the technical side while I brought in clients. Our teamwork kept improving, and the business kept growing. Meanwhile, Shinmo remained stagnant, still convinced his life would magically improve after 2 years of waiting. For our first post-graduation reunion, I put considerable effort into my appearance. That evening, I arrived fashionably late. Before I even stepped into the private room, I heard Shinmo's voice. Don't even mention her. That shrew makes me sick just looking at her now. If she hadn't tricked me with her tears and pleased to be together, I'd never have ended up with her. Once I'm divorced, I'm going back to Sushi. She's my true soulmate. Just being with her turns me into an instant CEO. Cigarette dangling from his lips, he spoke with cocky certainty. His classmates stared at him like he'd lost his mind. Undeterred, he poured himself a drink. Piece of cake. I'll treat you all to Paris when it happens. His remark sparked waves of laughter. Just as I was about to step in, a figure rushed toward me, bringing with it a foul odor. It wasn't until I heard the voice that I recognized it was Su Xiang. After some time apart, she'd completely changed. Gone was her former refinement, replaced by an unkempt appearance. That foul stench was coming from her greasy hair. Shinmo bolted upright the moment he recognized her. You, Su Xiang lunged at him, raining blows while screaming, we can't even afford food, and you stole my money to party. I must have been cursed in 8 lifetimes to marry such a worthless loser. Is eating, sleeping, gambling and bragging all you're good for? Even the family dog's more useful than you. Shinmo dodged wildly while covering his head, his practiced evasive maneuvers showing clear signs of frequent beatings from Su Xiang. The classmates in the private room instinctively backed away, munching melon seeds as they enjoyed the spectacle. Not a single soul stepped in to intervene. Just when the two-person drama couldn't get more intense, Shinmo's mother came storming in. Seeing her son being chased and beaten, she jumped into the fray and started pulling at Su Xiang. Su Xiang immediately turned around and slapped her twice. You old hag, how dare you lay hands on me? Got a death wish or what? Watching that usually domineering mother-in-law cower like a quail after being hit gave me immense satisfaction. In our past life, she'd repeatedly tried to suck up to Su Xiang when Su was pursuing Shinmo. After I married Shinmo, she repeatedly brought up how wonderful Su Xiang was. Every time, she'd say how much better it would be if Su Xiang were her daughter-in-law. If only Shin Mo had married Su Xiang, she'd be living the good life. Fine then, this lifetime, let her enjoy that good fortune to her heart's content. The farce ended with all three participants bloodied, exhausted from their brawl. Su Xiang and Mother Shin collapsed to the floor wailing, while Shin Mo dragged them out by their collars. At the doorway, his eyes finally fell upon me leaning against the frame. There I stood, clad in a form-fitting black dress that accentuated every curve, my delicate features perfectly composed. He froze for a split second before lowering his head and attempting to leave. I beckoned the manager over, declaring, "I won't be covering this gentleman's drinks or the damages." Just so we're clear, the manager, understanding the situation, intercepted Shin Mo to demand payment. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, the three of them couldn't scrape together even $1,000 between them. Shin Mo finally left in a huff after reluctantly surrendering his ID and phone. As for me, that night I was showered with compliments and flattery from classmates. The night breeze carried an unusually refreshing crispness. The drinks that night tasted exceptionally fine. My business with Qinglin kept thriving, so we upgraded to a larger studio. Shin Mo remained a deadbeat, mooching off his parents while indulging in mindless pleasures. When drunk, he'd ramble about his past life and all the glory he once had. Even in this new life, he still believed his former glory would come effortlessly. Even now, he refuses to admit that his success came from my contributions. When he learned how Qinglin and I were expanding our business, he couldn't stay on the sidelines any longer. He went straight to Qinglin. His eyes lit up at the sight of Qinglin now, his mouth hanging open in shock. It was clear he had recognized this Qinglin as the future tycoon. Excitedly sitting across from Qinglin, he spoke earnestly, "Qinglin, you'll become the richest man someday. Seriously, trust me, let me join your studio. I'll make you even wealthier. Qinglin, your business will grow massive, you'll have more money than you can imagine." Qinglin responded woodenly, "I know, pft. I couldn't help but laugh, as for you, Qinglin glanced at me, I'll follow Sushi's lead, Qinglin spoke sparingly, but every word carried finality. Clearly, silence won't get you anywhere. He looked at me, and I smiled as I spoke. Even a dog would be welcome, but not you. He stopped me. "Don't you think you'd be better off with me on board?" "No, we wouldn't." He gritted his teeth. "Sushi, when you gave me a hard time last time, I knew you still had feelings for me. I almost laughed. After all this time, he's still this full of himself. What exactly do you think I see in you? Your poverty, your failed marriage, your poor hygiene, or your habit of mooching off women while drinking, gambling, and whoring around? I warned you, I'll make your life worse than a dog's." After a long silence, he snapped at me, "This is all your fault. I wouldn't be in this mess if it weren't for you. If not for you, I'd already be halfway to success by now." I was left speechless. It's all my fault. I was too naive back then, couldn't tell a decent person from a snake. Even tofu has more brains than this guy. Every word exchanged with trash like him makes me sick to my stomach. As I turned to leave, he grabbed me. Since it's your fault, just give me some cash. I'll rebuild my empire myself. Consider this your compensation. When I make it big someday." I swung my hand and slapped him. "Have some shame, will you, given a second chance? Can't you at least try to salvage your dignity?" Qinglin sensed the tension and stepped between us, shouting at Shin Mo, "Get lost." Faced with the taller Qinglin, Shin Mo still chickened out. He shouted over his shoulder while running, "Just you wait, 2 years, only 2, you'll regret ever looking down on me." Qinglin remarked casually, "It's been a while since I've heard someone brag with such artistic flair." Then he turned back and added, "Don't sweat it. Just focus on being your best, Karma'll handle the rest." In the blink of an eye, 2 years had passed since graduation. Qinglin and I have established branch offices over the past 2 years. 11. I handle external affairs while Qinglin manages internal operations. Everyone knows me as President Su, yet few recognize President Qing, though Qinglin seems perfectly content with this arrangement. The only time people witnessed President Qing's commanding presence was because of Su Xiang. That day, Su Xiang barged into our company lobby clutching a child, making a scene like a shrew and demanding to see me. With no way to avoid her, I finally stepped out. The disheveled, filthy woman before me was nearly unrecognizable as Su Xiang. The moment she spotted me, she lunged forward, accusing me of ruining her life. "Sushi, is this your doing? You're the reason my life's turned out like this. You knew exactly what kind of scum Shin Mo was. Why'd you push me into this hellhole?" This is all your fault, every bit of it, you ruined me," still screaming curses. She flung the child to the ground before collapsing into a wailing heap herself. From her fragmented curses, I pieced together the story of her life these past 2 years. Shinemo was a lazy glutton who squandered money on vices, even betraying her countless times for cash. She'd had a child, believing enduring 2 years would bring unimaginable wealth. Instead, her mother-in-law fell gravely ill, and Shinemo fled, leaving them drowning in debt. She wandered from place to place with her child, constantly evading debt collectors. Hearing my chuckle, she stopped sobbing. "You must be delighted to see me like this, aren't you?" Delighted? Not exactly. On the contrary, I felt completely composed, only feeling a twinge of pity when I saw that innocent child. Su Xiang, Shinmo's success in his past life was entirely because of me. Without me, he'd be living worse than a stray dog. And you, did you really think clinging to Shinemo would bring you wealth? How pathetic is that? How dare 2 worthless losers like you ever mock me? She looked up and muttered to herself, "Why is fate so unfair? We were both reborn, yet only you succeeded. Because my eyes can gaze tenderly at suffering yet pierce through worldly glamour. These hands can cook delicacies or steer a ship through storms. Because I walk with dignity, cherish life, and cut off toxic people." I enunciated each word deliberately. Su Xiang stared dumbfounded before shaking her head and collapsing to the ground. Seizing the moment when I turned away, she hurled a rock straight at me. If Qinglin hadn't lunged to shield me, that rock would have smashed right into my head. Qinglin snapped, grabbing Su Xiang and dragging her out. "Where the hell are security? You all want to get fired. Throw her out now. If I see her here again, you're all done. And if anything happens to Miss Su in this company, I'll make you regret it. What are you standing around for? Get moving. Need me to show you how to do your damn jobs?" That was the most Qinglin had ever spoken at once, and the angriest he'd ever been. Everyone froze for several seconds before snapping out of it. Watching Su Xiang being dragged away, I waved my hand to stop them. I walked up to her, looking down with a chuckle. "You've got some nerve, daring to have kids in this situation. Not like me, fresh out of college and already drowning in money worries." "Xiang Su, to be honest, the way you've become after having a child is truly disgusting. I won't keep you here any longer. Don't let the door hit you on the way out." I threw her own words back at her, word for word. "She's not worthy of crossing paths with me ever again in this lifetime." That was the day I learned Qinglin had a temper. When he's angry, he terrifies everyone around him. But that fiery temper of his was never directed at me. At work, no matter how much I argued or made a scene, he'd just chuckle and say, "Whatever you say." I used to tease him that he'd lose face acting like this in public. That roar of anger finally made people notice me. Seeing him, a sudden thought crossed my mind. The right person will bring out the child in you, the wrong person will drive you mad. That's exactly what happened between Su Xiang and me. Extra, a decade later, Qinglin and I were blessed with both a son and daughter, and our company went public. For 10 years, Qinglin loved me as steadfastly as the first day, never letting me suffer any grievances. When my postpartum body changed, he deliberately overate and gained weight to keep me company. After my recovery, he helped me through the weight loss journey. That's when I realized true love stays when you're at your worst. I saw Shinemo again 2 decades later. That evening, as Qinglin and I strolled hand in hand along the riverbank, we encountered a disheveled beggar, hunched, filthy, reeking of decay. As we brushed past each other, I heard him muttering under his breath, "Sushi, sushi." If only I'd married Sushi back then. I paused momentarily, and he too came to an abrupt halt. Those timid, clouded eyes peered at me through a wild tangle of white hair, a 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 tangle of